power. Copy. I take everything.
Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Had Sacred Gear That Can Copy Powers and Became Evil Dragon God movie. Before we start, please go support IsseiOmniversalCaos for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. Issei possesses a very strange sacred gear that can copy any kind of power, including Longinus, sacred gear and others. He also wields extremely powerful swords, such as the Sword of Asgard, given to him by Odin when he first met Issei as a child, and 3 original Excaliburs, stronger than any other. He also possesses an evil Excalibur, equally powerful. He has 2 siblings, Guru and Issei, who despise him for not having a sacred gear. He is part of Rias' entourage, but they despise him for not possessing any. He keeps his power a secret so that Rias won't use him as a weapon. Issei is now a god-level evil dragon due to his fall from grace caused by Murayama, who made a deal with Issei to pose as Issei's girlfriend. Now that he has transformed from an evil dragon, Issei's power grows to godlike levels. All the abilities he copied have increased in power, and to test his strength, he fights Crumb Crash until he kills him, taking his power and becoming incredibly powerful to protect those he cares about. She loves, for example, the Sitri retinue, the Phoenix retinue, and others that will come in the future as new threats. This story will be somewhat long because they are still going to save Yusaka. Clarifications. 1. Issei will have 2 sacred gears, one is a very strong Longinus that exceeds 12. 2. His second sacred gear is something strange that allows him to copy any attack, weapons, Longinus, sacred gear, power among other things, and make them better. 3. He will only be despised by Serafal, Sirzechs, Rias, his entourage and Ajuka, but not by the other leaders because they knew that Issei saved many. 4. His brothers are arrogant and want to ruin Issei's life. 5. Every time he suffers a wound, he is healed by the Sitri retinue. He will have different skills that he himself created, such as 1. Destructive ability Compass Needle. 2. Destructive ability Style of Warfare. 3. Destructive ability Leg Shape, Toe Cut. 4. Destructive ability Fluid Light Flash. 5. Destructive ability Crush Style 1000 Flashes Willow. 6. Destructive ability Leg Style Ring of 1000 Flying Planets. 7. Destructive skill Chaotic Blue Metal Glow Style. 8. Destructive ability Crimson Dark Meteor Strike. 9. Destructive ability Chaotic Black Blows. 10. Destructive skill Final Technique Black Force, Radiant Dark. 11. Clone. 12. Create tentacles like spikes or chains, but made of a very hard metal and others like bones. 13. Go at top speed like a vampire. Chapter 1. The city of Kuoh is located in Japan, but now we focus on Hyoudou where there was a fierce battle. Space and the entire city were gray and black, some buildings were destroyed and on fire, but in the sky, you could see waves of blows until a lightning bolt fell on a bridge, but it kept moving until it exploded and sent a shockwave. Above, a figure in black armor with blood-red gems was seen holding a spear. He had 4 pairs of very large and long dragon wings that made him look majestic. On the other side, a man with black hair, blue eyes and strange clothing held a blue spear and golden vines with a cross on it. The man was exhausted, missing an eye, and his head was bleeding. Blood dripped from his mouth, but his gaze only expressed terror and fury towards the man in black armor. This is all you and your so-called companions can give. You are very weak for us dragons and demons of this generation. The subject spoke with a terrifying voice that would frighten anyone. The other one said to him. Why do you fight for them? I know what they did to you, but you still fight for them. Tell me the reason. Maybe they hurt me a lot, but I know not everyone is like that. But those who hurt me, I will never forgive or give a second chance to be with me because I no longer have a heart for them. But I do have a heart for other people who were by my side and helped me in the most difficult moments, and I will protect them from any threat, even if that means finishing you and your whole damned faction off once and for all. And that's why you are the first one. I will show something that surpasses anyone in this world. Crimson Dragon Knight. His armor completely changed into one that exuded a powerful evil power because he was facing an evil dragon that surpassed 10 celestial dragons combined. Your life will end here, but if you flee you will be considered a coward. 10. Dark Dragon Blaster. 3 torrents of red and black energy emerged from the subject's shoulders and chest, heading towards the subject who spun the spear to avoid the blow, which worked, but it made him retreat until he reached a point where he could not go any further, and the beam hit him causing a massive explosion. But how did all this happen? Who was the man in that armor? Why was he fighting? Every story has a beginning, and this one starts in a house where a 16-year-old boy suffered beatings and humiliations at the hands of his 2 older siblings, Issei and Ryu, who despised their younger brother, Hyoudou Issei. He had brown hair and amber eyes, but the reason he suffered so much was that he wasn't like his siblings, who excelled academically. Besides being considered useless, as everyone called him, Issei was relentlessly beaten at school until he was nearly dead from his injuries. Only 2 girls stood by him. Cadis and Sekiryuutei. These girls were with him and helped him, just like the student council. Many girls beat him up, all because they fell for Ryu's lies. Being handsome, many fell for his lies, turning them against Issei and telling him he was a pervert and stole girls' clothes. One day he had a date with a girl named Yuma. She had black hair and very beautiful eyes and a good body. Issei accepted the date, but they were being watched by a short girl with white hair named Kaneko Taojo, who was sent by Rias Gremory, who had been observing Issei as well as his brothers because she believes that he has a very strong sacred gear that can help him. On Sunday, the day of the date, Issei was ready, but his brother asked him who the girl was, but Issei never told him what she looked like since he wanted Yuma to grape her. The day of the date went normally, but when they stopped at the park, Yuma asked Issei something. "Would you die for me?" Yuma revealed that she was a fallen angel sent to kill him because he might be a threat to them and what they wanted to do. Rainer stabbed him with a spear of light and was gone, but Issei almost fell dead because above him appeared a girl with crimson hair with a pawn piece in a magic circle. She asked him, "Do you want to live?" Issei nodded, and thus he became Rias Gremory's pawn, along with Issei and Ryu. Ryu used 4 pawn pieces, Issei 3. Both carried dragons. Ryu carried Drag, the Red Dragon Emperor of Domination, and Issei carried Tiamat, the Dragon of Karma. Issei was. Ryu was the. Issei was the same as in the anime. Rias asked Issei to show her his sacred gear, but when he tried, nothing happened, which greatly disappointed Rias. Over time, those involved in the occult beat Issei a lot for not having power, for being useless, and his parents also treated him badly. He was always looked after by the girls on the student council because they had feelings for him. Issei faced Riser over Ria's engagement, but Ryu emerged victorious, claiming defeat due to his ability to wield a heavenly dragon. However, Issei discovered that Riser possessed Drag, a revelation that baffled him. He then realized that Riser not only possessed Drag, but also the power of the light spears, Akeno's lightning, Ria's destructive power, Tiamat's power, though not Tiamat herself, Asia's healing abilities, Kiba's sacred gear, Kaneko's power, and Riser's immortality. Now, Riser was incredibly fast, much like Vitra, the evil dragon king. His sacred ability, called Copy Over, enhanced whatever he wanted, so he eliminated Kaneko's power and Tiamat's power, but left the others. He spent the night training in secret so that Rias wouldn't say anything about his ability. Saji joined Sona and her entourage, even though she didn't want to because she wanted Issei with her, but now Rias had him, so she stayed with Saji. One day, while Momo and Raruko were walking straight home, they heard something. Dark shoot. A powerful but malevolent ray appeared in the forest, crashing into a mountain and shattering it into pieces. Momo and Raruko were surprised, especially when they saw who it was. Issei, wearing a black glove and adorned with blood-red gems. Issei. It seems I went a little overboard, don't you think, guys? Greg. You went a little too far. Vitra. But it was excellent. Issei. Thanks, okay, now for the next step. He closed his eyes and when he opened them his eyes were red as blood and he let out a scream so loud it sounded like a roar. Dark Dragon Balance Breaker Darkness. Issei is surrounded by many red rays until he glows black and out of nowhere parts of a black armor appear. It begins to slowly join on his body until it is identical to that of the Red Dragon Emperor, but evil and with spikes on the gloves, chest, back and shoulders only. Issei. Great, my power has grown a lot. Now I can surpass the original Mao Lucifer, but I need to get even further if that's what I want. Greg. I'm glad you're happy, partner, but remember that a dragon's power grows every time he wishes, but if you want more power, you can become an evil dragon, which increases your power threefold. Issei. I don't know, but I'll think about it, Drake. Momo. So you had sacred gear no Issei? Issei turned pale because Momo and Raruko were standing in front of him. Raruko. Won't you answer senpai? Issei. Haha, sorry, but I wanted to keep it a secret. Momo. Relax, this will be between us. Issei told the girls about his powers and those he copied, which surprised them greatly, especially when he transferred some of his power to them to make them stronger. One day Issei was going somewhere in the academy, Issei. Issei is seen in front of the journalism club door when he hears someone talking. Tell me, Murayama, when will you stop pretending to be that idiot's girlfriend? A girl said to Murayama. Upon hearing that, Issei was in shock. Murayama. You know I dated that perverted loser because it was a dare you and his sister made me do. Murayama said, unaware that the brunette was listening. Flashback. In the academy cafeteria, 4 girls are seen talking at a table while one watches as a brunette is beaten up. Issei. "Hey Murayama, what are you looking at?" I asked the girl. "Murayama." "Nothing," she said to her friend. At that moment, Issei turns her gaze to where she was looking at Murayama a few moments ago and sees her twin brother being beaten up by some boys. Izami immediately gets a very bad idea and then Timiot speaks to her. "Timiot. Don't do it, partner, I know what you're thinking," she said mentally to her bear. "Issei. Come on, nothing will happen. Besides, I'd be helping him out so he can have a little hope," she said mentally to Timiot. Timiot just sighed. Her companion and bearer wasn't going to listen to her, so she let her do it since this idea was going to bring problems in the future, and the brunette spoke to Murayama. "Issei. Hey Murayama, I dare you to go on a date with my stupid twin brother and pretend to be his girlfriend for a few days," she said with a smile. When Issei said that to Murayama, Ika and Kata stared at her in surprise, and Murayama looked at her and replied. "Murayama. And what happens if I don't do that stupid challenge? And what do I gain if I accept it?" she said, looking at her friend with a serious expression. "Issei. I know, I'll help you get a date with my brother Ryu. What do you say?" she said with a smile and extended her hand. Murayama. "Thinking I accept, but you have to fulfill your part of the deal," he said, shaking hands with Izami. Ika. Thinking. This is going to go very badly, Ika thought, looking at her two friends. End of flashback. "Yes, we already know, but I didn't think you'd last this long with him," said the girl. Meanwhile, behind the door, a chestnut-haired boy could N''T believe it. His sister had done all this to make fun of him. He felt angry and sad at the same time because no one was going to love him, and hearing his supposed girlfriend was because he had to complete a dare from Izami and another girl. Meanwhile, with the other girls, another girl was talking. "Hey, don't be like that with Hyoudou and you, Murayama. You know how his family and siblings treat him," said the girl. "Girl. And what's wrong with giving him a little false hope that it will make him happy? He's not like his brother, who's good at sports and studies, while he's useless and a pervert, right, Ika?" said Caddis to the girl now known as Ika. Caddis. "Yes, but this is wrong, playing with Hyoudo's heart. He's a kind boy," she said, feeling bad for the brunette. Murayama. "Yes, but I like his brother, not him. Today I was going to talk to him to break up with him, even though it was nice pretending to be his girlfriend for a short time, and I'm finally going to have a date with Ryu," Murayama said to Ika. "Girl. Let's go get something to eat at the cafeteria, I'm hungry," she said to Ika Murayama. Murayama. "Let's go, I'm hungry too," she said, accepting her friend's proposal. Ika. "Yes, but don't regret what you did to Hyoudou later, Murayama. Every action has consequences," she said, looking seriously at her friend. Murayama. "As if I cared what that idiot feels, and why are you so worried about Ika? Do you like her what?" he said, looking at her and asking. Ika. Blushing and "No, I'm not saying it's wrong to do this, it's not right," Ika said as she opened the door. When they opened the club door, they found the brunette staring at the floor, his eyes hidden by his hair, tears streaming down his face. The girls froze, thinking he'd overheard their conversation, but Ika quickly composed herself and spoke to him. Ika. "Hyoudou, what are you doing here?" she said nervously upon seeing Issei standing there. Issei didn't answer Ika, but instead grabbed the second necklace he had around his neck, ripped it off, and threw it to the ground under the girl's gazes. After throwing away his necklace, he left without looking at them, but the girl put her hand on his shoulder and said. "Girl. Don't worry, after all, nobody's going to love you," she said with a smile. Meanwhile, Issei, feeling the girl's hand, grabbed her wrist to pull her away from his shoulder and looked at her with teary eyes. "Issei. Don't touch me, understand?" he said, applying force to the girl's wrist. "Girl 1. Ah." She groaned in pain. "Let me go, idiot," she said, enduring the pain. At that moment, Issei lets go of her, looks at Murayama and says. "Issei. I thought you were different, but you're just like everyone else in this damn academy," he said, looking angrily and crying at Murayama. "Issei. Don't look for me, don't come near me, and don't talk to me," he said, leaving the place crying and heartbroken. Meanwhile, with the girls. "Girl 1. Rubbing her wrist, damn it, I hope that idiot dies," she said angrily. "Ika. Look what you've done. Now Murayama hates you," she said, looking at Murayama. Well, Murayama remained silent the entire time and only stared at the part of the necklace that Issei threw on the ground. A memory came to her. Memory. We see Issei and Murayama on their second date, now as boyfriend and girlfriend. Issei takes a small box out of his jacket pocket and shows it to Murayama, revealing a heart-shaped necklace, silver on one side and gold on the other, with a key in the middle. "Issei. Look what I bought you, Murayama," he said, showing the necklace to his girlfriend. "Issei. You'll wear the gold one while I'll wear the silver one, and that means you're the only one who holds the key to my heart, Murayama," he said with a smile. End of memory. Murayama felt as if her heart were breaking when she saw the necklace on the floor. She picked it up and put it away, and Aika asked her. Girl 2. Hey Murayama, are you okay? You were staring at the necklace that pervert threw away. Are you alright? The girl asked Murayama. Murayama. If I'm fine, it's nothing. She said, putting away the chestnut-haired boy's necklace. Thought. Why do I feel this pain in my chest? I don't understand. She thought, placing her hand on her chest. Girls, let's go to the cafeteria, recess is almost over, and Murayama, don't be upset about that idiot. She said, heading towards the cafeteria with the girls. But Cadis and Aika were not there because they wanted to be with Issei to comfort him. The brunette is seen heading to the student council to see her friends while crying. Issei. I was a fool for believing in her, he said, addressing the student council. Greg. Calm down, partner, or you'll suffer the dragon's fall. He said seriously, worried about the chestnut-haired boy. Vitra. You need to calm down. She also said to Issei. Issei. I know, but it hurts that it was all a lie. He said, wiping away his tears. Now we see the brown-haired boy leaving Murayama with the others, but he turns around and sees him leaving without even looking at them. Now we see Issei on the academy rooftop, staring into space. Greg. Are you okay, buddy? He said worriedly. Vitra. Are you okay, buddy? He said, also worried. Issei. Staring into space. If I'm fine, he said in a cold tone. Issei. Shadow clone, he said, and a clone of himself appeared. It is one of the abilities that he himself created or described with the help of Vitra with his fire. Clone. What's up, boss? The clone said to the brunette. Issei. I need you to impersonate me for a few days, understood? I also want you to ignore the Kendo captain and the Gremory group, but if it's important, don't ignore the president's orders. And if they try to hit you, you have orders to defend yourself and leave them injured. He said seriously and coldly. Clone. Of course, boss, said the clone. Issei. Now go to the classroom, recess is over. He said coldly. Thus the clone from the rooftop goes to the hall so that no one notices that he left the academy and the club members don't know that he left. Greg. What will we do, partner? He asked. Issei. We'll go train a bit. He said coldly. Vitra. Let's go, I'm getting bored. Said bored. Issei. Let's go. He said coldly, activating a teleportation circle. A red magic circle appears in a certain place with 3 dragon heads in the middle, and a dull-eyed chestnut-brown figure appears, looking at a forest and a few meters away, a horse. Issei. Breathing in the fresh forest air. Is it good to be here or not, Dragon Vitra? He said to his dragons. Drag Vitra. Yes, partner, it's good to be back, said the 2 dragons. Issei. Yes, he said, grabbing his necklace and heading towards the house. But he simply ignored them, just as he ignored the Gremory group. He only paid attention to matters of utmost importance. Now we focus on the chestnut-haired boy who has been feeling very weak and unwell for the past few days and asks his fellow dragons. Issei. Cough cough, covering his mouth from twitching, and when he sees his hand covered in blood, he panics. Guys, what's happening to me? He asks, agitated. Greg. My friend, these are the symptoms of the dragon's fall. He said, worried about his friend. Vitra. If it surprises us that it started acting now and not before, it must be that there had to be a detoxifying agent to make the fall appear now. He said seriously and worriedly. Issei. So I'm dying, aren't I? Cough cough, he said, coughing blood. Damn it, just what I needed. Vitra. That's right, partner. Dragonfall is an illness that affects dragons when they are rejected or betrayed by their females. He said seriously. Greg. It must have been when you found out your supposed partner was with you because of a stupid dare and because of the conversation with the Gremory's girls, that must have been the trigger that set off the fall. He said seriously. Issei. So I'm dying because of my own feelings, he said. Greg. Yes, he said seriously. Issei. Is there a cure or something to stop the dragon's fall? He said and asked. Vitra. There is a ritual, but it's very dangerous and no dragon has ever done it because of their pride. She said. Issei. So if I perform that ritual, I'll be saved, right? The brown-haired boy asked. Greg. Yes, but the cost is that you lose your feelings and your humanity. He said seriously. Issei. Damn it, I don't want to become a heartless person because of that stupid Murayama and the Gremorys. He said angrily. Issei. What happens if I don't perform the ritual? He asks. Vitra. There are 2 options. You either die from the fall or you transform into an evil dragon. He said seriously. Issei. I don't have many observations. Not to die from this stupid fall or lose my emotions and feelings because of the ritual. He said seriously. Greg. That's right, partner, we don't have many options. He said seriously. Issei. I have no choice, and I've been thinking about this for days. Drag, make me an evil dragon. The dragons were surprised when he said that. At the rooftop door, the girls were about to enter, but they heard Issei speaking with a red gem glowing on his arm. This surprised the girls greatly, but they continued listening to what he was saying. Issei. You're saying I should draw the Sekiryuutei? I asked. Greg. That's right, partner, and you must increase the seal's power so you can remove the curse that girl caused you. He said seriously. Issei explained what he did, using his blood he began to create a magic circle. With the Sekiryuutei's writings, he drew the mark, and when he was ready, he made his glove appear and enhanced the seal, which began to glow red. Greg. Okay, now get on the stamp, and I'll do the rest along with Vitra. Issei did as he was told, standing on top of the seal, but then black smoke began to billow from it. The girls were terrified until they heard a blood-curdling scream from Issei as he glowed red. The entire school began to shake violently. In the underworld, everyone was feeling the powerful tremor that shook everything. Sirzechs and his wife went out onto the balcony, but the tremor grew stronger and stronger. It was the same in the sky. Gregory was there too, but they sensed the energy of a dragon turning malevolent. Issei screamed and screamed until a lightning bolt shot into the sky and exploded. The brightness dimmed until the girls saw a different Issei. He had black hair and blood-red eyes. Issei. Did it work? Greg. Congratulations, partner, now you are the strongest celestial dragon of all time. Issei. I'm glad, but I have a new goal. Vitra. And that would be it. Issei. I will become the strongest dragon god of all time. Vitra. We will help you, but we will need a lot of power, and if that is what you want, you must copy Albion and the sacred spear, but we don't know what will happen. Issei. It doesn't matter, I'm coming, Great Red, Office and Trixia, because very soon the new evil dragon god will be born. Chapter 2. After Issei transformed into a god-level evil celestial dragon, he now had a new purpose. To become the next evil dragon god and be stronger than Trixia himself in order to protect the many people he loved and would love for a long time. Issei suddenly senses a large energy, but it is gradually decreasing. Issei. They feel it, right? Greg. Yes, I'm sorry, mate. Vitra. It's true, I feel an energy coming from the forest. You must go as soon as possible. Issei does what Drake said. Caddis and Ica were curious about what was happening. Issei jumps and lands to start running towards the forest. Issei stopped to try to locate where the energy was coming from. Issei closed his eyes, and when he opened them his eyes were black and he could sense the energy. He started running until he arrived and saw that it was a girl with long black hair down to her hips or lower, a somewhat strange outfit, somewhat large breasts, but she was badly injured. She was bleeding from her head, she had arrows in her left shoulder, and in her right hand, she held a spear. This is the image of the girl with the spear, but an image with the wounds I told you about. Issei. Are you okay? The girl, upon seeing him, realized he wasn't an enemy, but she sensed a powerful energy emanating from him and saw that he was an evil dragon, though she knew he wouldn't harm her. I'm not feeling very well, ugh. Issei. What happened to you? Issei went straight to her to see if she could resist. He tried to use Asia's sacred gear, but it had no effect because it seemed that something had been done to her to prevent her from healing. The reason it doesn't work is because it's a poison that can't be cured. I don't have much time left. Issei. Wait, maybe I can help you. My name is Elizabeth from a kingdom that was exterminated, and for centuries my family gives this spear which is stronger than the true Longinus, the sacred spear with which they killed God, but this one is stronger, and now it's yours. Issei. No, I can't accept it, it's something from your family, not mine. Elizabeth. No matter what, the spear has chosen you as its bearer, and if it doesn't find its bearer, it will disappear along with its power. The power it carries can make the bearer stronger, increasing agility, strength, and giving you different abilities you've never seen in your life. It surpasses 10 celestial dragons combined, but only reaches the level you are at now. Issei. I don't know whether to accept. Greg. Accept, partner, so you can protect those you love, you can be stronger than anyone. Vitra. That's true, that way maybe it will help you and you'll be able to defeat many enemies together. Issei considered whether to accept or reject the power of the spear, but he had no other choice. Issei. I accept the spear. Elizabeth smiled and began to speak. Elizabeth. I reject the power of the spear to return it to the hands of the new successor, so that he may have the power that was once mine forever. The spear began to float until it reached Issei, who took it, and in a matter of seconds it emitted red rays. What was once gold changed to dark gray. Spikes began to adorn the metal. The thickness where it was held became larger, until it reached a length of 10 cm. The tip of the spear changed and became sharper. The gems turned red like blood. The power it contained went to Issei, and he transferred some of his power to it, causing it to glow. At the center of the scene, the mark of the dark Sekiryuutei appeared, and thus Issei's new power was born in that spear. Elizabeth. I hope you can do great things with that, and if you wish to search for more spears like this, they are in the ruins of my kingdom located in Germany. Elizabeth began to close her eyes until she died, but her body turned into particles that went to heaven. Issei. I promised to do my best and show what I'm capable of, but now I need more power. I'll train until I become an evil dragon god. Greg. If you want more power, we can help you. Vitra. You must copy Albion. Issei. Albion, Drake's rival, and now my rival because I have you. Greg. If you are now the Dark Sekiryuutei, the most powerful of all, you can enter and exit the booster Gar. The former holders are here too. Issei. I'll go in so I can talk to them one of these days. Now what should I do with you? I look at the spear. Issei. I think I'll give it the Dark Longinus or the Dark Lance. The spear glowed until it became a sphere that went into Issei's chest. Issei. Alright, now I must become stronger. I will train with the spear to learn its secrets and powers. Chapter 3. We see Issei walking towards his house. Issei. Ah, well, tomorrow is Saturday, so I'll go to where that girl who gave me her spear lived. Greg. If he said he's in Germany, more like you. Vitra. Hey buddy, how are those swords that old man gave you when you were a kid? Issei. Now that I remember, they're in my room under my bed. When that man gave them to me, I felt some magic or something like that coming from those swords. Vitra. I'm having a theory. I want you to show us those swords. Issei enters his house but hears, I heard that damn spawn got Miriama pregnant. I can't believe he did that to her. I wish we had never had him. When he heard that, the bangs of his hair covered his eyes, and then he had no choice but to punch the wall hard, cracking it instantly, because of the anger and fury he felt, so he didn't realize that his eyes were slitting. Issei goes upstairs and his parents, seeing the hole in the wall, thought it was something they didn't know about. He enters his room and closes the door so that he can take out 4 things covered with cloth from under his bed. Issei. Okay, here it is, let's see. Having said that, he began to lay the foundations until swords were drawn. Vitra. Just as I suspected, partner, these swords are from Asgard. Issei. You mean an Asgardian came here without Rias and Sona's permission? Greg. It seems he is indeed a teammate. Issei. But why would he give me those swords? Vitra. Perhaps for a reason, my friend, perhaps it was your heart that was pure, how kind it was that you wanted to protect all those you loved, and for that reason you gave them to me. Issei. Maybe first, and you can put the swords on later. Greg. What will you do now? Issei. I must train to surpass my limits and become the next evil dragon god. Tomorrow I will go to Germany directly to where that girl comes from, looking for what kind of dances they can choose me for. So he sheathed his swords again and tucked the ropes under his bed, leaving his room and heading to the occult club. When he arrived he saw that everyone was there, but there were 2 girls who were hooded. Rias. It's so good you came. We were waiting for you. Issei. Rias Sama, who are they? Rias. Church sound systems. Issei. But don't you have to ask permission to enter here? I mean, the church can't do anything, it's all demonic territory. Rias. Yes, but it's better that she knows so she knows what her purpose is here. Zenobia. We are here, I ask you, the fragments of the Excalibur swords were stolen. Ryu. Excalibur. Issei. What sign is it for Santa Clara of King Arthur, but it was to leave the angels, and during the war it was split into 7 parts, and in those parts the angels created the sacred swords which are those parts of Excalibur, but how were they created the angels? These cannot do harm, they kill us with a simple cut. Rias. What he says is true, Excaliburs are powerful, but do you know who stole them? Zenobia. If the cadre of Gregory called Cacabiel. Rias. Cacabiel. Issei. We already had enough with the fallen angels who killed us, and now he appears, what does he intend now? Everyone had that doubt in their head. Issei. And if he did it to get their attention, or if not, to cause a war between factions again. Rias. We must protect this territory, but tell me what you, the church envoys, said. Zenobia. We don't want them to get in our way because we don't trust the leaders much since they are liars and arrogant. Rias. We never get involved in church affairs, much less those sent by God. Zenobia. Excellent, thank you very much, we'll be leaving. Akeno. Don't you want a cup of tea? Zenobia. We accept nothing from the disgusting demons, we are leaving. They were leaving, but Zenobia stopped when she saw Asia looking somewhat frightened by her presence. Zenobia. I had a question at the Hyoudou house, you're Asia Argento, right? Asia? Hi. Irina. Ah, the holy girl who became a heretic is now with the demons. Asia was saddened. Zenobia. Do you still believe in our Lord? Irina. Zenobia, don't ask that to someone who's become a demon. Zenobia. Even so, I may feel guilt and have some faith. Asia. I still believe in God despite being a demon. Zenobia. Then let me kill you so you can pay for your sins. Zenobia drew the Excalibur of destruction. Ryu stops the sword with his glove. Hey, what the hell is wrong with you? Zenobia. A demon defending someone who was a former nun. Ryu. I don't care if Asia cured a demon, that means she cares about many people even if they are against her. Zenobia. If you defy the church, then that's like a declaration of war. Ryu. Look at it that way, but I challenge you to a duel. Zenobia. Good. I will fight anyway. Everyone turned around and it was Kiba with a serious face. Kiba. I will destroy the Excaliburs myself. Zenobia. Who are you? Kiba. Your superior. The battle was just like in the anime, only with Ryu without Issei's ability. Zenobia. We're leaving. So they left, but Issei knew they would follow them. And since it was now a matter of the church, he decided to accelerate his plan. He asked Rias for permission to go train one day, which she accepted, and he thought that he would not amount to anything because he was weak. Issei. Alright, it's time to go. Thus he takes dragon wings from his back, flies to a great height, and shoots out like lightning at great speed. In Germany, Issei had just arrived at an old castle about 60 meters high. Issei. It seems this is where the girl came from. So he enters the castle directly and is confronted with something extremely chilling, opening up a pile of bones with spears and all the other remains of people, as if a battle had taken place there. Issei. There's no one around because of the spear, but it might be useful. There were about 50 different links, some had bones, spikes, among other things, in a terrifying way, and he joined them together to form a different spear, opened a magic circle, and put it in the closet in his room. Issei. Well, I must continue. Along the way, he started to touch a lot of gold bars, jewels, diamonds, rubies, emeralds, many things, but he couldn't leave it like that, so he made it small with one of Vitra's abilities and put it in a chest. Inside it was a lot, but outside it was a small ball. Issei. I came across spears, swords, and bows, but it seems these aren't the ones the girl told me about. Greg. I feel an energy beneath us, comrades. Issei uses one of Kiba's abilities, creating a hammer, and begins to hit the ground many times until it breaks and falls inside. In the hole, Issei was in a cemetery, as there were many graves, until he saw something that amazed him. In front of him were the spears the girl had mentioned. Issei. Bingo. Chapter 4. There were 12 spears of different types still retaining their power. Issei. It's incredible, you can feel his power from here. He gets closer and closer, but something else catches his attention, and when he turns around he sees another spear stuck in it, but this one was white and dark gray. Issei. Hey, can you sense their power? Vitra. Yes, and let me tell you, you are in the presence of a very powerful spear. Greg. And not only is it powerful, but with this spear they killed God. Issei. Wow, I didn't expect this spear to kill him, but if it did, it has some of his power, right? Greg. That's just how it is, but if you train you'll be able to remove the seals on the spear. Issei takes the spears and they accept Issei's power. But these become longer and sharper. Issei. Well, I'll train to increase my power even more, and with this dragon-slaying spear, I have a brilliant idea. Thus he would leave, leaving the castle with nothing more, since Drake told him that he no longer felt any power in the place. Hours passed and finally Issei arrived in Kuoh. He went inside his house and overheard his parents' conversation and the arrival of his childhood friend. Irina. It's incredible that you defeated a high-class demon. Ryu. Yes, but don't be too surprised, because I will be the strongest Sekiryuutei in history. Issei enters the room only to go to the kitchen, hoping that Irina will recognize him or greet him. Ryu. Hey Irina, isn't there anyone you haven't said hello to yet? Irina. I don't think so. Issei heard this and felt like a part of his heart broke. Irina. It's just you guys, no one else. Issei then remembers the promise he made to himself as a child, just like Irina. Flashback. Issei was looking at Irina sadly because he knew Irina was going to Italy. Issei. What if we make a promise, Irina-chan? Irina. Which one? Issei. When you come back, we'll be boyfriend and girlfriend and get married. What do you think? Irina's eyes sparkled. Irina. Yes, Issei-kun, here, I'll give you this. He gives her a necklace with half a heart and Issei gives him the other half and then they both say goodbye. End of flashback. Issei peeks out and sees that Irina didn't have the necklace. Instead, it was on the table, implying that she forgot about it and fell for Ryu's lies. Issei. It was just a meaningless promise, he whispered, but anger and rage could be felt in his voice. Without further ado, he leaves, watched by Ryu who had a superior smile. Finally, he sees through the window how Irina and the other girl go to church and decides to follow them. In the church, Zenobia wasn't very happy with Irina. Zenobia. Hey Irina, why did you say there was no one else to say hello to? Irina. Because I told the truth. Zenobia. I saw someone enter the house and it was the boy you told me about. Irina. Hyoudou Issei. Zenobia. Yes. Issei enters the church. Issei. Hello. The two girls take cover, but upon seeing Issei, Zenobia lowers her sword. Zenobia. Is that you? Tell me, what can I do for you? Issei. I just came to talk to Irina. Irina. Tell me who you are. Zenobia was there because she barely trusted Issei. Issei. Don't you remember me? Irina. No, hardly. Issei. It's me, Issei, the one you used to play with when we were kids. Irina started to memorize, but then she remembered something from when she asked Ryu about Issei. Flashback. Irina was at home sitting on the sofa waiting for Mickey's tea. Irina. Tell me Ryu, where is Issei? Ryu. That useless guy isn't here. Irina. Why do you call him useless? Ryu. Easy, since he has no power and is a pervert. Irina was shocked because she knew Issei well. Irina. But he was never perverted. Ryu. But now he is, he's even been watching the girls while they change and stealing their underwear. Irina felt a pang in her heart, knowing that the man she had loved since she was a child was now a pervert and powerless. She took off her necklace and placed it on the table. Irina. I wish I had never met you. End of flashback. Irina puts on a serious face and speaks coldly to him. Irina. Yes, I remember, but I don't plan to speak to you again. Issei. Why? Irina. Because you are a perverted and powerless fool. Issei felt his heartache more and his companions felt a bad feeling. Issei. But I was never a pervert and I'm not one now. Irina. I don't believe you. I believe Ryu, he's a better man than you. Issei. But. Irina. I said no, I'm starting to love Ryu instead of you, sometimes I regret ever meeting you. Issei. You're not serious. Irina. I'm telling the truth. She turns around but is grabbed by Issei. Issei. And what about the promise we made that you no longer intend to keep? Irina. We were just kids, we didn't know what we were doing and I'll make that promise to Ryu instead of you, you pervert. Now get out of here. I don't want to see your face again. Issei lets go of her and turns her around. Zenobia was angry with Irina because she had a necklace from a priest that could see people's hearts, just like demons could. When she saw Issei's heart, there was only determination, love and peace, but now there was only sadness and loneliness. Issei leaves the church but is seen by Zenobia. Issei takes the necklace that was in his house and the one Irina gave him and when he puts them together, he forms a heart. Issei. Everyone believes in him, but not in me. If you don't want to see me anymore and have anything of mine, then I don't have to have anything of yours and when you realize your mistake, I will never forgive you and I will say those same words to you because for me, you are no longer an angel, but a demon. He takes the necklace and puts it in his hand where he squeezes it very tightly, his hand begins to glow red until it stops glowing and he slowly opens his hand, letting pieces of the necklace fall out, but now destroyed. Issei takes his path into the darkness of the forest until he gets lost. Irina felt a pain in her heart as if she had lost something. The days passed and the day when Gabriel would attack was almost here. After Issei made the decision to train harder to become the next dragon god, surpassing the 3 existing dragon gods Great Red, Trihexa, and Office a brown-haired boy with light blue eyes can be seen looking out the window, thinking about someone. Issei. Thought. How is Helen feeling right now? Thinking about how he met and saved her. Flashback. He met her when they were chasing a demon who didn't kill his master or anything, but she did take very powerful and valuable weapons. She remained hidden in an abandoned warehouse. I hope they don't find me, I must hide this. But then Issei finds her and she thought he would do something to her, but no, he was just extending his hand to her. Issei. Don't worry, I won't do anything to you. She takes his hand and leaves. Issei. You're cute, tell her your name. My name is Helen. Issei. Nice name, but you'd better leave now, they're coming. Helen. Let's go together, I've seen how they treat you just like in your childhood, come with me. Issei just nodded his head, but when she was making the magic circle, Issei pushed her. Issei. I hope we meet again. Helen. Issei. The circle disappears, just like her. Issei sees Ryu enter and pretend to be injured from a battle. Ryu? Where is he? He asked furiously. Issei. She left. She was very strong and used one of those weapons to escape. He lied to Ryu. He doesn't take it well and starts kicking him in the stomach. Ryu. You're a damn fool, you can't do something so simple, that's why you're a useless, powerless person. Issei was vomiting blood from the multiple kicks. Ryu was very angry, but he felt 2 bumps on his sword, and that was Rias. Rias, don't waste your time wasting words on a useless person like him. The others arrive and when they see Issei bleeding, they assume it's because he failed at something. Rias. Let's go. They were retreating, but Ryu leaned close to Issei's ear and said. Ryu. This is something you won't be able to enjoy because you're just useless. He leaves and they leave Issei alone. Issei uses the power of the Asian twilight to heal his wounds. Issei. I swear I'll make you pay, you bastard. Issei stands up but sees that his wounds are taking a long time to heal. Issei sighed. It's a good thing I did this magic spell. Greg. Yes, partner, it's a good spell. He said from the red gem. Issei. Angel is a spell that allows me to steal the life force of nature to heal my body. Itra. But since that brat had weapons, they were copied by your ability, now she has more weapons to train with. Issei. Yes, it would be better if I went with the others. End of flashback. While Issei was deep in thought, his sister Issei and Murayama watched him, wondering what had happened to cause such a drastic change in his appearance and attitude. Issei thought. What could be wrong with my brother? Why is he acting so cold and distant? Izami thought as she looked at the dark-haired man. Demiet. I don't know, you tell me how you, the drag holder, your parents, the Gremory entourage, and your friend Murayama will treat him. I wouldn't be surprised if his attitude changed, but physically, I don't know what happened to him. I sense an energy in him, but I can't detect it. It's as if something is preventing me from feeling it. She said mentally to her holder. Issei. I still don't understand how he found out Murayama was with him because of a dare, she said to Timiid. Flashback. After the chestnut-haired boy left and the girls headed towards the cafeteria, they ran into Izami, and Kata spoke to her and told her what had happened. Issei. So my brother found out about the challenge, but oh well, I would have liked to be there and see his face. She said to Katis. Ika. I can't believe Hyoudou is the brother of someone like you. Don't feel bad about doing that dare. Now Hyoudou is hurt. She said, half angrily and seriously, to her friends. Issei. I don't care, it was just a dare, that's all. She said, starting to walk towards the cafeteria. Girl. If there's nothing wrong with that, after all, it's not like Ryu, she said with a blush and walked towards the cafeteria. While Murayama was still thinking about what had just happened a few moments ago and still didn't understand the pain in her chest, seeing the brunette like that and how he threw away his part of the necklace, Izami pulled her out of her thoughts. Issei. Hey Murayama, she said, calling the brunette's attention. Murayama. What's wrong? He said, coming out of his thoughts. Issei. Don't be upset about my stupid brother. Since you completed the challenge and as part of the deal, I'll get you a date with Ryu. She said to her friend. Murayama. Thank you, he said with a smile, forgetting what happened a while ago. They arrived at the cafeteria and ate something, talked about trivial things, and as the bell rang, recess was over. Heading to their classroom, they saw the brunette's clone sitting at his desk looking out the window. Then the teacher arrived and classes began. End of flashback. Issei. What do you mean you can't detect that strange evil magical energy? She said to her companion. Tiamat. I don't know, but I use a kind of spell that makes it so I can't see those energies. Issei. I'm going to ask her about that strange energy she's emitting, since I felt it too. It was an evil energy. She said to her companion. Tiamat. I don't recommend you go near her, she said to the brunette. While Issei was talking to Tiamat Murayama, she looked at her and then at the brunette, feeling bad about what she had done to him when he found out. Her date with Ryu had been a complete fiasco since Ryu didn't care about her, unlike Issei who gave her his full attention. She realized she had feelings for the brunette and decided to try to win the black-haired boy back, but she knew it was too late for that. The hours passed and classes at the academy were finally over. The brunette was seen heading to the club with Izami, who was trying to talk to him. Issei. Hey bro, what happened? Come on, tell me. She said to Issei as she walked towards the club. While Issei didn't pay much attention to it, they arrived at the occult research club where they saw the other members and the student council. They noticed a black-haired boy with red eyes, but now he had a scar on his cheek. Sona. Who is Rias? She asked, looking at Issei. Rias? Well, I don't know how to explain it, but it's Issei Sona. She said a little nervously upon seeing Issei with a serious expression. When Rias said that, everyone on the council was shocked. All the members wondered what had happened to her and then Saji spoke to her. "Saji. What happened to you, you useless idiot? Why do you look like that?" he said, coming out of his shock. When Saji said that, the brown-haired boy began to unleash a bit of his killer instinct, making the entire club tense with the raw emotion Issei was releasing, sending a chill down everyone's spine. Then Rias spoke. "Rias. Issei, calm down, okay?" she said to the brunette. At that moment, Issei stops unleashing his killer instinct and the brown-haired boy asks. "Issei. Why did you call us president?" he said seriously and coldly. When the chestnut-haired man spoke, the council members were surprised by how he spoke to their king, and Rias felt a pain in her chest when Issei spoke to her like that, and she said to him. "Rias. Gabriel is approaching, so Sona, I'll ask you to create a field around the school." Sona. "Yes, my pieces and I will do it so that he doesn't leave here." Sona leaves everyone behind, but Issei peeks through the door and Momo and some girls go and kiss him on the cheeks. Momo. "Luck. Baruko. Good luck Issei-senpai. Tomo. It's like good luck. Rias. Show this cadre who's the strongest here." They all said almost the same thing and left because Issei told them that the spear he found had almost all the power of a god, but its former wielder put seals on the spear so that the next wielder would break them and become the new god. Rias. "And Issei, I'll ask you to come home since you don't have power and I don't want anything to happen to you." Issei. "I'm surprised that even though you mistreated me for not having power, for being useless, you care about me." Rias. "It's my duty to care, that's how our clan is." Issei. "And what would happen if your clan found out that it's not as you say, that it takes good care of its servants, and that you mistreat them?" Rias just got nervous and Issei left, leaving everyone in the room. Issei was outside, but created a clone to pretend he went home while the original went somewhere, taking out the spear he found in the castle. Rias and the others were ready to fight against Gabriel and his followers. Sona and her pieces activate a field around the entire academy where the battle would take place. In the sky appears the cadre of Gregory sitting on a throne with a smile of superiority. Gabriel. "But if they are the daughters of Lucifer and Leviathan, tell me who they are going to call Sirzechs or Seraphol." Rias. "None, we'll stop you from going in until they come." How did she know they were coming? Well, it was simple. Akeno called her brother and asked him not to have much confidence because they were going to face a cadre, or rather a fallen angel, of a level that was close to Lucifer and that survived the battle of God. Gabriel. "You're very confident, girl, but remember I didn't come alone." He snaps his fingers and a huge circle appears. In a whirlwind, the sky appears and from it emerged the Cerberus, giant three-headed dogs. 4 came out in total, as well as fallen angels and crazy parents. Freed held the sacred sword in his hands, and Balba was smiling because his experiment had worked. Freed. "I'm going to enjoy tearing you to pieces, you demons." Using the power of each fragment of the Excalibur sword, he fought against all of them, especially Kiba, because he felt a great hatred towards the holy swords. Kiba summoned 10 swords, and each one of them was destroyed by Excalibur. Irina was fighting with one of Kiba's swords, I asked that I lend it to her so she can fight. Irina. "Damn it. Without my Excalibur I can't defeat him." Zenobia is also giving her Excalibur by fighting against Freed. Ryu used a balance breaker. Just like Issei, who went against Gabriel. But neither of them put up much of a fight because both were too weak. Ryu only sacrificed his left arm and leg, but Issei sacrificed her heart, but she couldn't control the dragon's power very well. She barely knew how to handle her armor properly. Outside the barrier on a hill, 2 people were watching the battle. "It's clear he's not fit to be my rival." "Ani-sama, what will you do?" "I still don't know, besides feeling a strange power outside the barrier." "It's true, a few days ago an extremely powerful force was felt, which I understand to be an awakening that may have originated from the ancient castle of that empire. I imagine someone was fit to take the spears, especially the one that killed God. I wonder how those believers will take it, given that they believed too much in someone who died millennia ago." "Never mind, let's watch the fight, sister." I know the fight was the same, but somewhat advanced. I managed to defeat the Hellhounds. Just like the fallen angels, but there was only one left, and that was Gabriel. Gabriel. Ha, I was wrong to underestimate them, and they managed to defeat 4 of my pets as well as my subordinates. Rias. "This is the power of demons, something you can never defeat." Gabriel. "Maybe you're telling the truth. But let's see what happens." In his right hand he creates a spear of light large enough and dances against them. The moment it makes contact it explodes, causing destruction of almost the entire academy. He knew he could believe him to throw the spear large enough to end not only the academy but the entire city. Rias. "We must use our powers and synchronize them so maybe we can hurt him." Rias, Akeno, Issei, Ryu, fired their powers united into one, forming a sphere of colors, where it impacted Gabriel and created an explosion. The smoke made the Coca-Cola logo disappear. Very enraged, I ask you, he was bleeding on his chest. Gabriel. You bastards. Then 25 small light spears appeared and began impacting different parts of the body. Many tried to shield themselves from the impacts, but they could hardly do so because the impacts caused many explosions and it was almost impossible to escape. But then Gabriel receives a strong blow from which he did not know where it came. Gabriel. Who hit me? So. Boom. A few meters away there is a curtain of smoke that rose up. How to make someone arrive. In the smoke, your eyes began to shine. Everyone panicked, thinking it was an enemy, but what they saw next left them somewhat terrified. Everyone was looking at the guy who had just arrived from who knows where, but he was looking at Gabriel, and he saw that something was written in his eyes, and it was upper third moon. He didn't understand what it meant, but it wasn't good. The man stared at Bulba, who was startled to see him. With a sudden movement, Bulba disappeared and reappeared in front of him, ready to strike. No one could tell where he was, and his speed was superior to that of a knight. Then Bulba's head was sent crashing to the ground, shattered, just like his body. They saw the man in front of Gabriel, and he created a spear of light and threw it at him, but something happened that it did nothing to him. This one retreats. You have pretty bad aim. Give me his deadline. With him he had Bulba's blood. Gabriel. Who is this guy? His speed and impressive power far surpass that of a knight or something else, and his demonic aura is extremely large. Gabriel. You prefer to attack someone so weak that I don't understand your logic. I thought I could get in the way, besides, I want to talk to you. Gabriel. And what's the conversation about? Someone like you doesn't deserve my respect. Why don't you join me and surrender? If you do, you could become too strong. Gabriel. I refuse. Siri, your strength, just by looking at you, is not even close to the original Demon King's. Only then can he unleash 50% of his power. Gabriel. I was Gabriel Cadre de Gregory. And my name is Akaza, come on, accept the deal so you'll be stronger than before. Gabriel. I won't do it even though you give me many reasons to become like you, I won't do it because I hate demons like you. Akaza. I see. This is a strange display of humans squeezing and stomping too hard on the floor. Akaza. Destructive death compass needle. This makes a giant snowflake that first turns red and then changes to navy blue, an hour later it came out in those colors heading towards him. Akaza. If you're not going to become a demon, then I'll have to kill you. In one swift movement, he disappears and reappears in front of Gabriel, who is powerless to react as he rushes forward, striking him powerfully in the face. Gabriel recovers and launches several spears of light, but these are destroyed by a strange force. Akaza. In all my time as a demon, no one from Gregory's cadre was ever killed. Comic strip for powerful blows to different parts of Gabriel's body and that he spat out a lot of blood. Akaza. Why do you think that is the reason? The spectators were impressed by the strength of this demon who surpassed everyone, returning to the fight. Gabriel was bleeding too much. Akaza was hitting him repeatedly in the chest. Akaza. You fantastic enablers, then don't get lost little by little if that doesn't interest you. Gabriel. I don't care much about what's in my objective, I'll wage a faction war no matter the cost. This rises to the sky and creates a spear of light large enough to be the size of the academy. Akaza. Well, let's see if you can handle this. Akaza makes a different kind of movement. Akaza. Destructive ability Dark Meteor Strike. He strikes directly at the light spear that Gabriel had just thrown, but then the fist turns blue and a wave is heading straight for the giant dance. Both attacks collide, causing a tremendous explosion. Akaza. What do you want, to become a Gabriel demon? Gabriel was furious and went straight to him to kill him. Akaza. I would have loved to enjoy the fight. But this ends here. Destructive ability. 1,000 demonic kicks. Gabriel's body is designed to withstand multiple blows, like waves. Everyone was in shock at what had happened, that a strange demon had wiped out a being that could destroy the entire city. Rias. Who are you? Akaza. It's not time yet to show who I really am, but at some point you'll know, or in some future, Gremory girl. He leaps and disappears in plain sight, destroying the force field. The tales of the spear that killed God. This spear contains almost all of God's power, and I say almost because it has seals that prevent it from releasing its full power. Another thing about it is that it can take any shape the wearer wants, according to their imagination. He also has his balance breaker, but he can't achieve it yet. On the journey to Hyoudou, in the battle against the hero faction, he manages to activate the balance breaker and unite all the spears he took from the abandoned castle. Chapter 5. Now we see Akaza jump through each house until he comes face to face with Issei. This blow to the other and disappears, then I take back your original form, showing that I was somewhat tired and bored. Issei. I didn't think using the spear in this form would be effective. At least this way I can become stronger. I finished off a cadre, but I still have the dragon gods to take down, then the leaders. But I don't want to become their enemy. I just want to protect those I love. Greg. I am very proud of you, partner. I know that one day you will surpass every limit and become the new god. Vitra. That's true, by the way, we've discovered that you possess another very powerful sacred gear. Issei. Really? And how do I wake her up? Vitra. You must think about the darkest things. Issei did what Vitra told him and thought of pure evil, only for a black sword with red parts like blood to appear in front of him, so bright that anyone would be afraid to touch it. It was somewhat large in size, but it begins to shrink to a normal size. Issei takes the sword and feels an enormous power capable of destroying the entire city. Issei. This power is immense. Greg. Mate, you're having a great time these days. Vitra. That sword belongs to the strongest evil dragon god of all time. Issei. Well, I like that, but how do I awaken the dragon inside? You don't need to worry about that since I was awake watching you. The voice echoed from the sword, so Issei entered his mind, opening his eyes only to see an imposing giant dragon with a terrifying appearance that even the bravest would look into his eyes, as they were red like blood, reflecting hell incarnate. Average height 170 meters. Issei. So you're Bahamut, the evil dragon god. Bahamut. That's right, kid, and let me tell you, you're the first of many wielders who have great power that can stand up against the faction leaders combined. But I see you have a big dream, and that's to protect everyone you make, and let me tell you, that dream is wonderful. Issei. Thanks I guess. Anyway, I never imagined having an evil dragon god inside me. Bahamut. What did you expect? You didn't want someone like me to choose someone with great progress. Besides, my ability allows me to see the future. I could see your power, which can copy any type of weapon, magic, spells, among other things. I didn't know you were going to obtain the spears, even the one that killed. Goodbye. Issei. I didn't know you could see the future. But if you can see the future, what will happen? Bahamut. I'm not sure if I could see the future when I had my body, so I decided to wait until you were born and enter you. Because I'm sealed, I can't see it completely, but if you don't speak, training well using the balance breaker might allow me to see the future in a certain way. But for now, I won't tell you. You must train well using that spear sword technique, and of course, I also await your progress. I'm going to sleep now, as that's how I regain my energy. Issei. Yes, rest, partner. He carries the transmission and sees that Rias and her team were almost arriving at the house, so he inflicts some wounds on himself, or rather pretends to be wounds, to believe that he fought against the one who killed Gabriel. Rias. Hey, what happened to you? Issei. I was attacked by a very strange demon that was coming at full speed. Everyone began to have doubts and were going to ask him if he was the same demon who killed the cadre. Ryu. What was that useless demon like? Issei. Well, he had very pale skin, tattoos all around his face, arms, and chest. He had something like pants and a short, small jacket. Also, in his eyes it said upper third moon. Then everyone understood who that demon was. Haneko. And what happened to him? Don't tell me he fought against him. Issei. Something like that, but its strength far surpasses that of a supreme demon. It started attacking me, saying it was very hungry. Then I entered the forest and came out, but then I saw that the shadows stopped. I think they are afraid of sunlight. So now everyone knew of the demon's weaknesses, which was sunlight, as if he were a vampire of ancient generations. But he told many lies because he didn't want them to know that he was the one who killed Gabriel and used that form with the spear's ability. Then the sky. If they could see a blonde girl, no more than 17 years old, dressed in white, very beautiful, she was somewhat distressed by the meeting and also wanted to know who was the bearer of the divine spear, which was the name of the alliance that killed God. Who will be the new bearer of the divine spear? Whoever carries it will be the new biblical god, but if you have a demon, it will be worse than Lucifer. They found themselves deep in thought, wondering if it was a demon and the world would be in danger. But then she came across a large door which she entered and saw a man in golden armor with red parts, long blonde hair who looked like a woman, but was actually a man. His name was Michael, Archangel of Heaven. Michael. What's wrong, Gabriel? Why are you so pensive today? Gabriel. What can the divine spear sense that it has chosen a new bearer? Michael. Don't worry, sister. You know that at the meeting he might be present, but at the moment, the peace meeting and Gabriel's near declaration of war make me somewhat hesitant about accepting or not. Besides, I heard that your students have made great progress in feeling the power of the spear of life. Gabriel. That's right, she has made great progress. Her powers can now rival us and the leaders. Michael. Leave now, sister. The faction meeting is in a week. So Gabriel leaves. But then he runs into his 5 or 6 students. Hello Gabriel-sama, we sense the power of the divine spear comes from a boy reincarnated as a demon. Gabriel is now little, you'll find out what a demon that possessed it is. 2. Don't worry Gabriel-sensei, we can sense that the boy's heart feels no evil but purity and we assure you that he has no evil feelings. Gabriel. He's a cheerful girl, you can leave now. In the human world. Issei finds himself in a dimension of the police officer Hallow training in the balance breaker of Drake, whose armor was identical to that of the Sekiryuutei, but was black with red gems like blood and gave off a great power. Issei. With this progress I'll be stronger than before and now with the power of the divine dance and the other almost dormant spears, I'll be superior. I'll destroy the true Longinus, but I'd better not. Instead, I'll give it to heaven, since that's where it belongs. Bitra. Honestly, you fill me with pride, partner. You've progressed a lot, even reaching the balance breaker with my armor, which is superior to the other one. And that's after you yourself imagined what my true form would be like outside the gem. Issei, you're welcome Vitra. And yes, I'll create a form for you for when I manage to free you or when it's necessary. Vitra. I don't plan on leaving you because you are my best companion. Issei. Thank you. It's best if you go to sleep now. Tomorrow is going to be a big day. But he didn't realize they were being watched by a girl with blue hair and a green streak. Oh Irina, you have lost someone very valuable who gave so much for us. I hope that one day I will manage to realize it before it is too late. Gabriel's form. When he met Issei at the meeting, he could see that his heart was falling almost into darkness, so he decided to repair his damaged heart. Chapter 6. We see Issei at school because today is the day when parents will go to the school to observe their children's work creating a clay figure. Issei. This day can't get any worse. Mitsuda. Yes, what happened to my friend? Motohama. We're definitely fried, well except for you. Issei. Don't remind me of her and I don't want to know anything about them. His 2 friends go inside the academy, but he doesn't, so he goes directly to where the bridge was and bumps into someone who was there. It was a boy with a jacket or well dressed in rebellious clothes and also silver hair. Issei. Hakuryuku. Ali. It's a pleasure to meet the brother of the Sekiryuutei, or rather, the bearer of the ovaled copy. Issei. How do you know about my power? Ali. Don't worry, a body told me, you know a lot about the types of powers some humans have. Issei. Azazel. That's not true, the leader of the fallen angels. Ali. I see you know a lot about him, isn't that true? Issei. I know a lot about him because I met him once. I was moving at an inhuman speed, standing in front of him with a finger pointing at his head. Ali. I see something in you that could use magic to kill you, but I see you copied the power of regeneration from the phoenixes, didn't you? Issei. Yes, but I want to keep this a secret. I don't want to reveal my power yet. Ali. How many digits do you think it is? I say about 5 digits because I see a very great strength inside you. Issei. Who cares about someone's power? It's only measured by the strength of their will and the strength of their heart. Ali. Wise words Hyoudou Issei. Issei. Tell me, what did you come here for? Ali. I've only come to see where the faction meeting will be held, although I'm surprised that you, Rias Gremory, haven't told your servants. Rias was behind Issei, so obviously I didn't hear their conversation about the power he possesses. Rias. You'd better leave if you don't want to start a fight here, although we can't remedy our power or anything in the human world. Ali. I only came to see my rival since I'm waiting for the screen, but I see that my level isn't up yet, so I'll see you at the meeting, see you soon. That's right, he leaves everyone behind, but Issei had copied his power without him realizing it. Now he had a copy of Albion inside him and now he just needed to train his power well to become the Dark Dragon God. Classes weren't getting heavy yet, but he was on the roof of the academy, watching how the students were still arriving. Issei. How are you feeling, Albion? Albion. Incredible, I didn't think you had so much power and so many magical reserves, they're monstrous. Issei. Yes, I'm surprised that that stupid tomato-haired girl didn't realize my power. Greg. That's right, partner, you've beaten my balance breaker, but the white dragon is still to come. Issei. Yes, I just need to show my power. Since today is the meeting of the factions, I have a bad feeling that something is going to happen. Vitra. Yes, we have that feeling too. But don't worry, if something happens you should use that same method in secret. Their conversation is interrupted by the door opening, revealing to Murayama that she wanted to talk to him. Issei. What do you want, Kaori-san? Murayama. I just wanted to talk to you and ask for your forgiveness. Issei. And sorry, she says, oh, I want to be my girlfriend so I can be with Ryu, just because of a stupid dare my sister made. Murayama. Issei, I know I did wrong, but please give me a second chance. Issei. I won't give you a second chance since I don't feel anything for you after what you did to me. Don't act like that with me again, don't talk to me about how you don't exist to me. And if you come looking for me again because of one of Issei's damn challenges, I'll make you forget about me. Murayama. But. Issei. I said no and don't bother me anymore. You should never have listened to what your friends were saying, but not just because you had a stupid date with him. I'm still following you. I hope that one day you can see what he really is. Goodbye forever. He almost left, leaving her very sad. She started to cry because she wanted to be with a dark-haired boy again, but now it was too late as her mistake had consequences, just like many others. Issei. Yeah, she first said it was a challenge, and now she wants to get back together with me, yeah, how stupid. Greg. Yeah, mate, who does that girl think she is? Bitra. Although I'm surprised that after what he did to you he comes asking for forgiveness. Issei. Well, that doesn't matter anymore. Is there any way to get rid of the feelings I once had for those girls? Greg. That's right, partner, and if you do it you'll increase your power even more. Issei. Do it. Thus his three dragons began to seal every feeling he had for those girls. First came the one about Esuries. Then the one from Asia. Then Kanekos. Then Akenos. Then Serena. Until only Murayama's remains. Each one had a color. Red, yellow, white, gold, chestnut, and dark brown, and each feeling was gradually paid off. Now he no longer felt anything for them, but he would still treat them as if they were his companions. She went to the room where the activity would begin. All the patriots will go along with the students making clay figures. Many made ancient sculptures and other things, but he decided to do something else. He made a clay figure of himself, but with his armor. It was completely different and looked monstrous. It had 4 metal wings, but also 6 others that were much larger and longer than the others. A very long tail with spikes at the tips. Its body was too large and had spikes in some parts. The gem was a very dark red color. He had cannons in his arms as well as on his shoulders and hips. His helmet was somewhat terrifying, as some teeth could be seen. I paint the armor black and red. When he saw it, he was so impressed that he asked his dragons to keep it in their memories because he planned to make that same armor. Everyone is impressed by L's talent, even though he still thought he was a pervert, but some didn't see him that way. Instead, they saw him as a kind and exemplary boy. Master. Your artwork is impressive, Hyoudou Issei. Issei, thank you professor. L's parents looked at him with some anger, since their other children made different clay figures. Ryu did Rias but naked and Issei's with her and her brother in their armor. His companions who were next to him started asking if he could sell it, among other things. Issei. Of course I'll make some for you tomorrow, I promise I'll give them to you. They left happy knowing that she would be made into other copies of her clay. Obviously the teacher gave him a 10 on his work, but his brothers got 9 and 10. He was heading straight somewhere, but then he saw his parents talking to a red-haired man. He approaches to find out who she was talking to. Issei. Dad, who is he? Guru. He is the father of the useless laugh, his name is Zeodicus. Issei. It's a pleasure to meet you, Zeodicus-sama. Zeodicus. The pleasure is all mine, lad. I heard you have great magical reserves within you. I hope to see them in combat someday. Issei. It will be a pleasure. Zeodicus. I like you. So he went to talk to the parents and him, but then they heard a lot of shouting from young people. He went and saw that it was a girl in a cosplay outfit and assumed that she was Sona's sister. Issei. Sona is going to get angry. Then Saji arrives. Saji. Please return to your classrooms. Everyone is carrying something annoying. Saji. Excuse me, but you can't come dressed like that. Who are you looking for? Seraphol. I am Seraphol and I am looking for Sotan. Saji. Who? The door bursts open, revealing a very angry Sona. Sona. What are you doing here, sister? Seraphol. Sotan, I'm glad to find you. If you hadn't told me this, I would have attacked this guy. Issei. Would I have done it? Tsubaki. If they protect their sister a lot, she is the Mal-Leviathan, one of the 4 kings of the underworld, or 5. That impressed Issei. Then everything happened, going to the Anime and Taiko, only he wasn't at home. He was in the forest training in his new armor. Just like the spears, and even more so the divine spear. Issei. Yes, he has great power, but I need to know what else to know. If you believe me, please show me a weapon I can use to defend myself. Out of nowhere it begins to shine with a golden color and begins to guide him somewhere. It takes you directly to the outskirts of the city in a very deep cave. You could see gems of different colors stuck in the walls, as well as human bones that were already more than a century or a millennium old. And I don't lead directly to a spring. Then I heard a very sweet voice. You're chosen to wield Excalibur. It was a woman's voice, so sweet it would charm even the bravest man. Then a woman in a white dress emerges from the water and in front of her appear 3 swords that are going in the direction of him. These swords were created by King Arthur. It doesn't matter if you are not the heir to the throne or of the same blood as King Arthur. They chose you because you are brave, because you care about others, and because you have a good heart. That is the reason why they have chosen you as their bearer. Issei. Thanks, I think so. I know you're scared to carry the 3 original Excaliburs, the most powerful of all. The power is within them, but with proper training, it will gradually release its power towards you, and you will become a worthy wielder. Issei. Thank you very much, lady. A storm started to pull me down to the lake. Then he had new but dangerous weapons. Issei. Well, it's time for me to become the new Dark Dragon God. Chapter 7. The meeting of the factions had begun, and those present were Azazel, Michael, Gabriel along with his students, Seraphol, Sirzechs with his wife, and Vali, along with his sisters named Elena. And Valerie. She has another sister, but she is far away on a mission. Sirzechs. Let the meeting begin. Azazel told everyone that he suspected something about Gabriel. Azazel. I had my suspicions, but I had nothing to do with that job alone. Seraphol. So Tan, can you show the video of the battle please? Sona listens and shows the battle against Gabriel, how they were about to be destroyed when a strange demon appears and she starts fighting him like a child since she wasn't fighting seriously. It must be said that everyone is impressive in the world that you had a strange Mayfair battle style and too great a power since with just one attack you finished off the fallen angel. Sirzechs. Who is that demon? Michael. It's clear he has an ancient fighting style. From what I understand, people from ancient times used that style, but that demon seems too strange. Besides, his eyes said upper third moon. What could that mean? Azazel. Perhaps the number of his power because remember that there are Titan demons channeled by number 1 up to number 10 and perhaps he is in corner number 3, the one that is close to 2. Seraphol. Well, whoever it is, I'll save my Sotan he said sheepishly to Sona. Rias. Yes, it's true. But the white dragon appeared and disappeared, it took a crazy father, no joke. But at least my pawn told me that he faced it and is afraid of sunlight. Sirzechs. And what pawn was Rias? Rias. It was Issei. Everyone turned to look at Issei, who nodded and explained that he confronted him because he was hungry. Azazel. You must have a demon bandage that eats humans and increases its power. Sirzechs. Although I am surprised that the useless pawn faced someone like him. Michael and Azazel were not pleased by this, as he managed to survive even without power. Gabriel was reading his heart and could notice pure darkness. There was no trace of boots or anything, but he noticed that there were some seals on it, like what time is it? In feelings, since it was of different colors. Sirzechs. To conclude the meeting, what do the White Dragon and the Red Emperor Dragon think? Ali. I'm fine with it as long as I manage to face subjects that are too strong. Azazel. Even in times of peace he will manage to face subjects that are too strong. Ali. I knew you'd say that. Azazel. And what do you think, do you put Red Dragon? Ryu. I vote for peace because I want to be with my girls and many more. Gabriel read her heart and found only pure lust and perversity. Sirzechs. Then. Out of nowhere, time stops and everyone is frozen. Sirzechs. What's wrong? Issei. Gasper is in the occult club and I feel like there are more people with him. Azazel. And how do you know where it is? Issei. Well, I trained to sense the energies of demons and angels. It surprised everyone that he could feel everyone's energies. Sirzechs. And why weren't they frozen? He said, pointing at Issei, Irina, Ryu, Rias, Akeno, Sona. Azazel. Well, the pawn called Issei because he has magical and monstrous reserves, Irina because she has an Excalibur, your sister because she put her hands on the shoulders of the Red Dragon Emperor since he, having great power, cannot freeze, and Sona because she is holding Issei's hand. Sirzechs. Did you leave someone next to your bishop? Rias. I left a tower for him to look after. Azazel. Well, it didn't work effectively because it froze time and someone must be controlling it to make it do so. Then they looked outside and saw several magic circles appear and people with hoods and one eye on their forehead came out. They knew they were brothers, but in reality they were magicians. Issei. They have us surrounded. Azazel. Hey, Vali, why don't you go have some fun? Vali. Yes, Banish Dragon Balance Breaker. He is covered by a white armor with blue gems. His brothers will also fight to help their brother. Azazel. I want you to use this. She shows them some metal bracelets. Rias. And what do these things do? Azazel. This will prevent you from freezing. I want the Red Emperor Dragon to give him some of the vampire's blood so he can freeze the mages. Ryu. Okay, I'll do it. Let's go, we have to go get Gasper. Thus everything unfolded like in the anime until Volley's betrayal. Azazel is shot in the back, forcing him to plummet and creating a crater. Everyone was fine with it being Volley. Azazel leaves, half in pain, and carries himself, putting a hand to his face to look at the sky. Azazel. So you betray us, Volley. Volley. It's more fun from the side. Sirzechs. What does this mean? Azazel. So you joined the Chaos Brigade, didn't you? Seraphol. Chaos Brigade. Sirzechs. A terrorist group created and led by the Dragon Goddess of Infinity, Office. Rias. Office. Sona. Office is a dragon, even God feared her. Azazel. You joined them to take your throne in the underworld, it's true. Sirzechs. What does he mean? Volley rises to the sky in his armor. Volley. No names is Volley Lucifer, grandson of the son of the original Lucifer. Showing 10 demon wings, and that impressed everyone and also terrified them. Volley. Don't you think fate is very cruel, Ryu Hyoudou? Ryu. What do you mean, you damn traitor? Volley. You are a mere human while I am a prodigy even without your sacred gear. You are a mere human but incarnated in a demon, while I am the grandson of the original Lucifer's son. Don't you think that's splendid? Michael. If we calculate the hacker Yuuku of the past and present, he is undoubtedly the strongest hacker Yuuku in history. Ryu. No matter who you are or how much power you have, I will defeat you and prove that I am the strongest Sekiryuutei in history. Volley. Well, let's see how much power you have, my rival. Thus begins a battle like in the anime, only Ryu ends up being defeated too quickly. Volley. Ha, and you claim to be the strongest Sekiryuutei in history, you ended up being defeated by only 10% of my power. Ryu. Damn it. Volley, set your sights on someone, and that someone was Issei. Volley. I challenge you to a battle, Hyoudou Issei. Everyone turns to look at the aforementioned dark-haired man, and he begins to walk in the direction of his opponent. Issei. I accept your duel. He appears in front of Volley and gives him a tremendous kick that cracks his armor. Volley feels great pain, but his armor regenerates. He goes towards him and punches him in the face, but he doesn't move even an inch. Issei headbutted him, breaking his helmet. Everyone below could watch the battle in awe. Even though he was just a pawn with no power, he was still defeating the White Dragon Emperor. Ryu was very aware that his useless brother was defeating his rival. Issei repeatedly struck the armor, breaking it completely, but then he did something inexplicable. He gets down on the floor and makes some strange movements and says. Issei. Destructive death 1000 flying kicks. And if he kicks the air, the shockwave program, who hit Volley in his armor, breaking it completely and making him bleed too much. His sisters were somewhat worried about him, but he refused to go and help them because he didn't want anything bad to happen to them. Volley. You are undoubtedly very strong and have great magical reserves. But where did you learn that fighting style? Issei. When I faced that demon, I learned his moves. I only did 5 and I invented them myself. Volley. Show me everything you have. Issei. Fine. If that's what you want, I'll do it. He starts making other movements, watch out, see if you're even stranger than before, since he was spinning among other things. Issei. Destructive death, Dark Knight Sacred Star Dark Meteor Strike Purgatory Kick. I can't continue because the career was destroyed by showing that same demon. But how was that possible? The real demon was always Issei, and the one there was just a clone. Azazel. So you're the one who killed Gabriel, aren't you? Bakaza. That's right, fallen angel, and I only came here because someone caught my attention. Sirzechs. And who was it that caught your attention? Bakaza. I point to the dark-haired man. Bakaza. Let's have a fight, you and I, to prove who's the strongest here. Issei. I have nothing in house so I accept your challenge. Bakaza. Destructive ability, war style. He launched an attack that Issei had some trouble dodging. Issei. It's fast, I have to use it. Issei. Destructive death dark meteor strike. Yes, it's a kind of beam, like meteors, that hits the demon and ends up tearing off an arm and part of his abdomen. Everyone who had hair in the battle was impressed to see that someone without power could still do that fighting style and hurt that demon. Bakaza. You have great talent, I have to admit that. But I still have more to prove. Destructive ability leg form, cutting tip. Issei gave him a cut on his chest due to the sharp edge of his leg and kicked him in the face, causing him to spit out a lot of blood. Sona was somewhat worried about him because she cared about him a lot. Issei. Destructive death dark sacred star. He launches thousands of dark waves that hit him, but also Volley, who suffers a lot of damage. Bakaza. destructive ability, fluid light flash. Both were different attacks. Akaza received more damage than him since his attacks were stronger than hers, ending up tearing off an arm, a large part of his abdomen, or a leg. Akaza. I say it's time to end this fight. Issei. I say the same, I'll show you my fighting style. Destructive death, Dark Knight, Sacred Star, Dark Meteor Strike, Crimson Black Purgatory Kick, Black Cataclysm Ray. Akaza. Destructive ability, Final Technique, Dark Shining Black Force. They both launch their own attacks, but when they both collide, they cause a tremendous explosion where Issei's attacks went towards the demon and the demon towards him. The smoke begins to disappear, revealing Akaza completely destroyed and Issei bleeding from his head, mouth, and chest. Everyone turns to see that the demon was regenerating, but out of nowhere it starts to approach the dark-haired man. Akaza. You were excellent, without a doubt. You are the strongest here, stronger than all of them. Thank you very much. And I hope you manage to protect your loved ones with this style. That's right, it disappears, turning into pure ash. The original Issei was alive, he just became invisible. The clone was taken care of by the girls on the student council, then a yokai with a monkey tail appeared and took him and his sisters to his terrorist organization. The meeting had ended and they finally achieved peace, but now we see Issei with Seraphil as she was heading towards buying some outfits for her show. Who was accompanying her since he was also going to buy something, but he didn't know that they were being watched by his sister who watched this angrily and planned to do something about it to make her stay away from him. Seraphil. So you despise me simply because I have no power. Issei. Poor things, thanks, yes, but I have magical reserves inside me and they are too large. I am training to be able to control them once and for all. I did it and I lost control. Seraphil. I know you're going to block it since you showed me you're the strongest, you even defeated a demon who killed a cadre level fallen angel. Issei. It's not that big of a deal, I only learned it in 2 days before the meeting, although I am surprised that I killed such a powerful demon. Seraphil. No matter how strong that demon is, you are stronger and I know you will become stronger in the future. Issei. Thanks, and where did you say the store was? Seraphil. It's close, just a few streets away. Issei. I want to know where there's a better way to go faster. Seraphil. Show me, show me. Just as he was about to give the address, they heard someone scream. Hi. They turned around and it was Ryu. Seraphil. Is something wrong? Ryu. Seraphil. Ah. He plans to take you away and grape you. Seraphil opened her eyes wide and felt a part of her chest break as she began to fall in love with him. Issei. What are you saying? I was just accompanying her to a cosplay shop and besides, how did you know we were here? Ryu. Shut up, I have something of yours here that says you were going to take her far away and grape her. He shows a notebook identical to his own, since it was a diary, but he had copied it, writing different things in it. Seraphil takes it and begins to read it. She even started to help, since it contained words about him raping her until she passed out. Seraphil. Is that true, Issei? Issei. Of course not. I would never be capable of doing that. But it didn't work. Plop. Issei falls to the ground with his cheek red and it was Seraphil who had slapped him. Seraphil. Shut up. Never come near me or my sister again, you damn pervert. Issei. Seraphil, understand, I wasn't going to do anything to you. Seraphil. Get out. I don't want to see you. She was taken into Ryu's arms, who hugged her while crying, but Issei could see a smile on her face and guessed that he had copied her diary and written things that were not true. Issei gets up and leaves with his eyes covered, but in his eyes there was only fury towards Ryu, which turned redder like blood, and he turns to look at Seraphil just to tell her. Issei. Listen to this, when will they ever find out the truth? I don't want you coming to me begging for forgiveness, because I'm not going to forgive you, I'll make you suffer in the worst way possible, I'll tear every part of your body off. They both become terrified as they see the eyes of the one they were pecking at too much, and it looks terrifying, then he runs away and disappears into the darkness of the street. Ryu was happy he had done that since he finally had another girl in his harem. Issei, the nephew, is a dragon. It is to seal the feelings he had for Seraphil. He goes to another part of the forest and puts on a dimension and shouts so loudly that he shoots a great beam into the sky. Issei. Damn Ryu. He takes out the divine spear and makes a huge cut that ends up exploding a mountain. Minutes pass and where he was there was only fire, smoke and destruction as he unleashed all the life he had contained towards his brother. Issei. Yes, I wish to be an evil dragon god. I will kill anyone who gets in my way. Chapter 8. We find ourselves in a pocket dimension where inside it was complete chaos, there was fire everywhere and it was falling everywhere, and the cause of this was in the destroyed sky shooting red rays from a spear, and that was Issei who was unleashing all his anger because his brother is a lie, saying that he tried to grape Seraphol as well as his sister and her entourage. His eyes were too red and the spear on his back was too terrifying. He had dragon wings spread out, but these were much bigger and different, and he also had a dragon's tail. Issei. I hate them all, I hate you all, and especially you, Ryu. Dark dragon shoot. From the spear and his gauntlet, he fires a huge torrent of evil energy that causes a gigantic explosion. Bahamut. Come on, you can show them all the true terror of the dark dragon god. Outside, Sona and her entourage were at the student council when Seraphol appeared. Sona. One Sama. Seraphol runs to Sona and hugs her, but she's crying. Sona. Are you okay? Seraphol. Sona, Issei almost raped me. Sona and her entourage went into shock since he was the sweet one and wouldn't be capable of doing anything bad to her sister. Sona. Are you sure? Seraphol. Yes, Ryu, but he told me that he found his diary and that it said he wanted to grape me by taking another part of me. Sona began to suspect and knew that his brother would always do the impossible to do anything to him, for example, taking away the girls he was falling in love with, and he already took one away. Sona. Maybe Ryu lied and maybe he wrote things that weren't his. I know he would never be capable of something like that. Seraphol. I believe in Ryu because he is the pillar of the factions. He doesn't have any kind of power. Now I understand why everyone hates him. He's just useless. Sona, along with the others, was bothered by what they were saying since they knew about his power. Sona. Don't talk to him like that, he has suffered a lot. Seraphol. Who cares about a low-class demon? I wish I'd never been born. Sona was already getting annoyed, so I slapped her sister and she was surprised because her younger sister hit her. Sona. Never speak to him like that. He's a sweet kind person and if it weren't for him, we'd all be dead because of that demon. And if he's forced to push his limits every day, every week, every month, you know how much he's suffered since he was a child and you speak to him like that. I won't obey your orders even though you're my sister because you're thinking of doing Yuri things with me and your employees from that show. Sona knew that her sister was in love with her or wanted to do lesbian things with her because she was very childish and was next to her and spoke to her very tenderly and she blushed a lot. Seraphol started crying because it was true and it was better to leave. If he hadn't done something, everyone would have been killed by that demon since it was very powerful. Sona sat down after doing that. But then they felt a strong tremor that shook the whole city. She looked out the window and I discovered that they were inside a pocket dimension that covered the entire city. There were no other supernatural beings besides her and her entourage, not even her sister was there. Momo. What's happening where we are? Sona. Someone transported us here. We're in a pocket dimension, but it's very big and I feel a great evil power. They were going to ask Tomo, but then they heard a scream they recognized. Dark dragon shoot. Everyone in the sky sees a great torrent of evil energy crashing into the center of the city and causing that same massive explosion that devastates everything and creates a great shock wave. Everyone saw that it was Issei, but he was very upset and I already had an idea of why. They spread their wings and go to talk to him, but then, when they spread their wings and were at a great height, they saw that another part of the city was in pieces. There was fire everywhere. Half of the city was completely destroyed. They could only hear the sound of explosions and collapses. Sona and the others were terrified by the immense power of him unleashing himself. Sona. We must calm him down, otherwise his power will escape the dimension and cause the death of all citizens. The others steady their heads and try to help him. But then they hear something that terrifies them. Dark Dragon Balance Breaker. Issei displayed Bahamut's Balance Breaker and unleashed a great evil power that surpassed the leaders and the celestial dragons. In his rage, he uses the spear and fires another red beam towards the city, blowing it to pieces and leaving only burning rubble, creating a landscape like hell on earth. The girls were terrified at what they were seeing. That sweet kind boy they knew was turning into an evil being full of darkness and malice. Bahamut. Ha 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 ha, this is incredible, yes, show everyone Issei who you are the supreme evil god who will rule over all. Issei. Dark Longinus Masher. That attack operated in a cursed state that was created by the biblical god and its name was Juggernaut Drive. From the gem in his chest, he began to gather an enormous amount of energy, ready to fire a massive blast at the city. But if that happened, it wouldn't just destroy the entire city, but the real city itself must already be in that state, which was far too powerful. And if he broke the shield, he would destroy everything in his path, leaving no one alive. The girls needed to do something soon because he was getting out of control. Sona. Issei, you finally snapped out of it. This isn't you, no matter what my sister did to you. This isn't you. You still have us, Issei. Please, can you be that kind caring boy you used to be? Don't let that dragon's darkness consume you. Momo. Issei-kun, please come back. You swore to have a date with me. Please come back. If you don't, you'll kill everyone. Upon hearing the cries of each of those girls saying I love you, Issei began to replenish the energy he had been accumulating. Bahamut disappeared, though he was somewhat disappointed, even though he was happy because he had demonstrated his power, and that was only 5% of his true power, which was capable of destroying an entire continent or more. Issei began to descend from the sky until he touched the ground. He notices the girls starting to approach him. Issei. I'm sorry, I didn't. Sona and the others hug him. Sona. Don't worry, you're with us. We won't let you go, we won't leave you alone. Baruko. It's true that there will be people who leave you aside, senpai, but you have us and we have you. Issei felt so happy for the first time in his life when he saw everything he had done, though he felt somewhat regretful because he had used a lot of terror in their eyes. He could see some fear in them at the sight of that red landscape now. Issei. Don't worry, I won't lose control again. I must learn to control Bahamut's power if I want to become a dragon god. But I don't really know that a blue fight with a green streak had been in the silver dimension, and I had seen everything from the beginning. I was surprised and sad at the same time. Irina, you don't know what you've done, just like the others. I only hope that I allow myself to be in his heart too, to repair it, to repair the damage you have done to a kind and sweet boy, and now you are turning him into a being full of darkness. Chapter 9. Issei. It's time for some to experience the fury of the dark dragon god. Now let's move on to the academy. Issei was returning from the club looking somewhat bruised. It turns out that Ryu told everyone that his brother was supposedly going to grape Sona's sister. Silas and the others believed it, except for his parents, who knew the brunette very well. Since he had a good heart, besides, they knew about his power because he told them himself after the faction meeting. Issei. How I hate him. Greg. Don't worry, partner, you'll have your chance to get revenge. Albion. What the red lizard says is true, you'll have the right moment. Greg. You called me a red lizard. Albion. Is there another red dragon here? Greg. You'll pay for this, you stupid white lizard. They both start a fight but receive a blow to the head that turns out to be Vitra. Vitra. Either you calm down or I'm going to strangle you. They were both a little scared because Vitra was a bit stronger than them. He had more power than they did. Issei snapped out of his thoughts as he reached his favorite tree where he sat and his wounds began to heal thanks to the phoenix's regeneration. Issei. It was good to copy that power, I just need to master controlling all the powers at once to create a new armor with that power. Greg. Partner, I forgot to tell you that we've already analyzed the armor you made in clay, and let me tell you, it's a superb armor. There are touches that are part of the White Proclamation and the Dragon King fused into one. Issei. Is that possible? Greg. If it's possible, partner, don't worry, you have to reach a very high stage to get that armor if that's what you want. Issei. Yes, that's what I want, Drake, because I want to become stronger and protect the people I love, for example, Sona and her entourage. Yes, they have feelings for me, but I'm afraid they'll reject me. Albion. Don't worry, mate, I know they feel something for you too. Vitra. Yes, that's true, don't worry, everything will be alright. I think that's the worst that can happen. In the occult club. Vitra. I had to say. Rias. What? Azazel. What you heard is that I am now your sensei, which means I will now take charge of all your powers so that you reach the balance breaker. For example, you, knight, as well as your bishops, as well as your 2 pawns who have those dragons, but also let me inform you that your entire retinue will move to the home of the Sekiryuutei by order of Lucifer. And the women there were happy to move into the home of their secret love, since he was very strong to them, but in reality he was weak and a coward. Issei. It'll be more complicated than I thought. In Issei's place. They were all choosing their respective rooms to sleep in. Kaneko told Issei that if he entered a room to steal her underwear, she would break all his ribs since she also hated perverts and thought he was one. Issei. How I hate her. Issei entered his room but found Azazel there. Azazel. Can we talk for a while? The dark-haired man was sitting on his bed while Azazel was sitting there. Azazel. Listen, I know you're upset, but I had no other choice. Ria's brother is very worried about that organization and also about that demon who appeared out of nowhere. But I know it was really you. The black-haired man was impressed that he knew he was the demon you used the power of the divine spear. I understand. You've suffered a lot, I know. I suffered too, before, when I became a fallen angel. I was banished from heaven for what I did, but I could see the faces of all my brothers filled with hatred for what I did. But I know that deep down they were sorry for what they were doing to me. You've suffered much worse than I have because the fact that you don't have power is a reality if you want it, and I know you'll reach the balance breaker someday. Issei. Does the copycat overhead have a balance breaker? Azazel. That's right. Even though it's not a Longinus, it's very powerful and dangerous. Many have desired to possess it, but none have succeeded. You're the second to have it. Issei. Was there anyone else besides me who had it? Azazel. That's right, there was someone else, but he wasn't as good as you. Besides, let me tell you that the holidays will take place in the underworld because of the meeting of the young demons and the alliance with Asgard. Issei. All the factions are going to form an alliance, right? Azazel. Don't worry, I know everything will be alright soon. You'll reveal the whole truth someday, but for now, I don't want you to say anything. I don't know what they'll do to you when they find out you have that sacred gear, which is very strange. Besides, I'm very interested in that armor you created, the one next to your bed. Turn around and see the clay figure that was created. Issei. If my dragons told me it's a fused armor, the 3 dragons are fused into one, which means it's extremely powerful, but I want to train to become tougher and more powerful than before. Azazel. I know you will. Anyway, I have to go. We'll talk tomorrow. See you soon. Issei. See you soon, Dad. Chapter 10. The entire Gremory clan was on a magic train that would take them to the underworld for the meeting of young demons from all over. Issei was sitting on a sofa watching everything through the glass, but in reality he was talking to Bahamut about his power that had gone out of control. In his mind. Issei. So I only awakened a small part of your power, but it was capable of destroying all of Japan, huh? Bahamut. Yes, but it's progress, kid. That squirrel armor you made is still in development. It will take time to create. It will be the most powerful of all. Combined with the Sekiryuuteis, the Hakuryukus and Vitras, the 3 fused with mine will be unstoppable. But you'll have to awaken a superior power that's on my level. You must also unlock the balance breaker of the divine spear. Issei. I understand. Bahamut. In short, you must wake up, they are about to arrive. Outside. Issei opens his eyes, seeing a vast landscape encompassing the entire Gremory clan. It was enormous, roughly a quarter or more the size of Japan, with huge areas and millions of inhabitants. Issei. So this is the Gremory clan. Asia. This is the territory of the entire Gremory clan. Kiba. That's right, it must be half of all of Japan or more. Ryu. Haha, I know that one day all this will be mine. Issei. That's what you think. But out of nowhere the train stops abruptly. Due to a malfunction, the train will have to stop here. The door opens and Azazel, Sona and Rias come out. Azazel. Well, we'll go see what's going on. They get out to see what's happening, but out of nowhere the train disappears and they all fall from a great height. Issei opens his eyes and realizes they are in a strange place, and there is Ria's entire entourage waking up after the fall. Issei. What happened? Where is Azazel-sensei? Ryu. What's happening now? But then the ground begins to tremble as if something were approaching with large footsteps. Kiba. What's going on? Zenobia. The ground is shaking. On the other side of a mountain, a humanoid being with forward-pointing horns and 2 short wings appeared, but Issei knew what it was. Issei. Dragon. Everyone didn't know what to do when they saw the dragon. The dragon breathed a very powerful fire that fell like a meteor, landing right in front of Kaneko and Gasper, but luckily Kiba and Zenobia saved them. Kiba. It's clear he's not friendly. Zenobia. What do we do? Akeno was watching the dragon, but then she decided to do something, so she made her priestess outfit appear. Akeno. Since Rias isn't here, I'll take her place. Kiba, distract him. Zenobia, attack from behind. Gasper, I want you to use your sacred gear to stop him. Issei, use your power, and Ryu, use yours too. Ryu Issei Kiba Gasper Zenobia Kiba. Hi. But Kaneko, hearing nothing, jumps to strike the dragon, but it swipes its tail, sending her crashing into the mountain, causing her to hit her head hard and bleed profusely. She falls right in front of Gasper. Gasper? Kaneko-chan. Kiba tries to use his abilities, but the dragon wouldn't allow it, as it knew what they would do. With its claws, it slashes Kiba, sending him flying. Zenobia summons Durandal and almost slashes the dragon, but its horns lengthen, stopping the cut. However, it also breathes fire. Kaneko tries to get up, but the blow prevents her, and Asia goes to help her. Issei and Ryu combine their attacks and strike the dragon, but they don't do much damage. The dragon stomped hard, causing Ryu to fall to the ground. Just as he was about to get up, the dragon was standing in front of him, staring intently and preparing its attack. Kiba. Ryu-kun. Asia Gasper Zenobia Akeno. Issei Senpai Kun-san. But then. Destructive Death Crimson Dark Meteor Strike. The sphere hits the dragon, making it fall back a lot, and it could be seen that it caused a lot of damage to its chest. The dragon roared angrily, seeing Issei standing on a mountain. Issei. You are strong, I must admit, but not strong enough. Destructive ability Black Chaotic Strikes. Many blows are directed towards the dragon, who, seeing this, tries to stop them with his flames. He manages to knock some of them down, but the rest hit him, causing more damage. He falls to the ground, nearly dying. Issei was about to prepare his final attack, but someone spoke. That's enough. Everyone saw that it was Azazel with his hand on his chin, and next to him was Rias staring at them intently. After a few moments, Azazel explained that it was a poem to see how he had improved in that time, but it turned out that they weren't strong enough to harm a dragon king whose name was Tannin the Meteor Dragon, or better known as the former Dragon King, who was reincarnated by the evil pieces, becoming a supreme demon. Tannin. It's been a long time, Dreg. Dreg. Yes, it's been a while, old friend. Ryu. So you know him, huh, you sleepy boastful dragon. Dreg. Yes, I know him, he's a fool. He used to live with me. I used to talk to him a lot before the fight with the white guy. Azazel. Well, I wanted to clarify that you all need a great undertaking, except for one, and that's you, Issei. Everyone was in shock and turned to look at the danger that was staring intently at the dragon. Issei. I already know that, Azazel-sensei. Tannin. It's been a long time since I've received a beating like that. I'm surprised that a demon like you, without any sacred gear, can hurt me with simple wave attacks. Ryu. You're useless, unlike me, the most powerful Sekiryuutei in history. He said, looking at the dragon with an arrogant smile. Tannin. You're not powerful because you haven't reached Balance Breaker yet. You can barely defeat a mid-class demon. If you want to become stronger, you need to reach Balance Breaker through rigorous training. And that's why the crow over there asked me to train you. Ryu was frightened because he would have to endure a man and a glutton who was too powerful, but he knew that he wasn't that powerful, except for one who was the most powerful of the 5 kings, and that was Tiamat. Azazel. Alright, let's go to the hot springs in Dragon Territory. It'll relax us there, and then we'll go to the Gremory mansion. The hot springs, a place where visitors from the demon clan could go from time to time with the Dragon King's permission, had 2 floors. The upper floor was for women, the lower floor was for men, but it was a very large square space with enough room for 40 people or more. There were Kiba, Gasper, Ryu, Azazel, and Issei. They were all naked, but with a towel covering them. Gasper was very afraid to go into the water. Besides, he was a cross-dresser and didn't like to show his body. And Ryu tried to put it in, but it was useless. Asper cried, and upstairs all the girls were completely naked. Ryu was drooling, trying to convince all the girls every day that he would reach the balance breaker. He wanted to be one of them, as he felt a great lust just thinking about what a glutton intended to release his pheromones. Issei, on the other hand, stared at a single place. The dragons that needed to fly. He had only one goal. To become the most powerful evil dragon god and remove the dragons from demonic territory, taking them to a different place where they wouldn't be enslaved, except by the fallen angels and future races who would see the devourers not as a threat, but as beings seeking peace and tranquility. Azazel. I see you're distracted. What's the reason for that? Issei turns to look at his father. Then he approaches and activates a shield around him, but from the outside, it could look as if the 2 of them were talking about something else, but inside they were talking about something more important. Issei. You know what I think about the devourers. They see us as weapons, especially the sealed dragons like the White Dragon, Red Dragon, Tiamat, Fafnir, Tannin. They're all being used as weapons, except for yours. You see him as a companion, and that's what I appreciate, father. But you know I want to become the next evil dragon god. I think the balance breaker will come someday, working just like the divine spear. I lost the girl I fell in love with, and we swore to get married in the future when we returned, but that bastard lied. But it's a lie about me and her being far away. That's why I awakened the power of the supreme dragon god. Azazel. Wait, isn't he just the bearer of the overhead copycat? Issei. Sigh, I am not the wielder of the true Dragon King Bahamut. Such a revelation terrified Azazel, for he knew Bahamut's power was such that even at 5% it was capable of destroying an entire continent. He thought of 100%, but didn't know how to describe it, as his power was infinite and limitless. Azazel. You're acting very strangely. Humans aren't supposed to be able to carry more sacred gear in their bodies, and you have too, for some odd reason. I should investigate this further, but for now, we have bigger problems. I know that releasing power is a real issue. I sent some angels to investigate, but they were eradicated by your beam. I'm not blaming you or anything. I'm just surprised that you only awakened 5% of your power. The copy of all of Japan suffered damage. You almost destroyed everything. Issei. Sorry, it's just that I wanted to unleash my life with something. I was losing control. Azazel approached and hugged him, placing him against his chest, for he truly loved him as if he were a real son. And indeed, Azazel had a son before, but he was killed. From that day forward, he suffered a profound trauma, unable to have another child and fearing the loss of his. But when he met Issei, he saw something that rekindled his hopes of having a child. She was incredibly kind, caring, and considerate. She was clever, intelligent, and handsome, even though everyone hated him. He didn't care, and he persevered. Azazel. Well, it's time to leave here. In a few minutes we'll be leaving for the Gremory mansion. Chapter 11. Issei and his companions were already outside Rias Gremory's home, a gigantic mansion with 13 floors and a vast grounds. He and the others, who hadn't seen Rias' house before, were speechless. Asia. This is the president's home. Issei. This house is really big for a demon like her. Greg. You can say that again, partner. Albion. Well, at least they don't call you names here. Rias. Please come in, my parents are waiting for me. Everyone entered the mansion, and the hallways were filled with valuable items. But as they passed through a very long corridor, there were servants on one side and the mansion's maids on the other. Many of them were beautiful maids, around 18 or 20 years old, not exactly stunning, but beautiful nonetheless. Ryu couldn't stop thinking about these maids. Issei knew that's how he was and he would never change. Rias One-sama. The boy, about 10 years old, with red hair, came running and hugged Rias. Rias. You've grown so much, Milikas. Ryu. But you, who is the boy? Rias. He's Milikas. Milikas, please introduce yourself. Milikas stops hugging Rias and says to everyone. Milikas. I'm Milikas Gremory. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Asia. He's very cute. Rias. Yes, it's true. He's my brother Sirzechs' son. Issei. So he's the son of that Siskin who believed that stupid wretch's lies. Kill him and everyone else. Destroy the underworld and rule over all supernatural beings in the entire world. Issei. I know I hate them, but the others have nothing to do with it. We don't even know the other factions, and you already want me to destroy everyone. I'm a dragon god, and you're my host. Besides, you only released a little of my power, and with that, I was capable of destroying an entire continent. Issei. And your ultimate power. The entire universe. But don't worry, if you manage to control it, you'll be the most powerful existence in all the universes. Issei. I'd better rest. Bahamut stops talking to Issei, and he only thought about Bahamut's great power. Maybe it could be useful to improve his balance breaker and the destructive abilities he himself created, in addition to the divine spear. They all continued walking until they reached a wooden door, which was opened by Grayfia, who was on the other side. Grayfia. Welcome. Milikas. Rias One-sama is here. They all went inside and saw that Milikas was hugging a brown-haired woman almost identical to Rias, and Ryu thought she was her sister since they were identical, and she also had a good figure like Rias and a larger bust. Ryu. Is she Rias' sister? If so, I'll add her to my harem. Rias, with her eyes closed. Ryu, you shouldn't be thinking about anything in front of my mother. Issei. Haha, right in her face. Venelana. I am Venelana Gremory, Rias' mother and Milika's grandmother. Everyone else saw Venelana approaching, and Rias and her entourage bowed their heads in respect. Venelana noticed someone in particular, and it was Issei. Venelana. I see that this boy has vast magical reserves that rival those of all the supreme-class devils. Perhaps in the future, the pawn pieces won't be able to withstand so much power and will end up being destroyed. Venelana stopped looking at Issei, and he already knew why she was staring at him. Venelana looked at Ryu and just gave a fake smile, since she could see Ryu's true intentions. He was a pervert and arrogant. Venelana. So you're Ryu Hyoudou? Ryu. Does he know about me? Venelana. Of course, it's not for nothing that you're the boy who saved my daughter from Rias or Phoenix by claiming her virginity was his. What to say? He saw Venelana and knew she was trying to get rid of me by falsely speaking affectionately to Ryu because he hated the way he was. Issei. I like Ria's mother, now I understand where she got her destructive power and that hair. Greg. If her mother's destructive power is superior to hers, she belongs to the Beal clan, who are the only ones with destructive power. Time passed and now everyone was in the dining room. There were maids behind all the members of Ria's entourage and some modes too, in case they needed anything. Issei changed his eating habits since he didn't want to be seen as a savage eating poorly, so he ate properly. The others also ate well, but he noticed Gasper, who hadn't touched his plate at all. He assumed it was because Gasper was timid in open spaces with people, since he was shy and didn't know how to adapt to the world. Issei. Yeah, he won't change. But he looks at Kaneko, and she has a serious expression, not even touching her plate of food. She's been acting strange ever since the train ride to the Gremory clan. It seems odd to him because she usually eats a lot, but now she has no appetite at all. Zeoticus. Ryu. Ryu? Yes. Zeoticus. How are your parents? Did they like the house renovations? Ryu. Yes, thank you. They're happy with what you did, thank you, Zeoticus-sama. Zeoticus. Please don't call me that. Call me Otu-san, since you'll soon be part of our family. Besides, I was planning to give you 50 maids to help in the mansion. Ryu. 50 maids. Ryu imagined the things he would do with the maids they could give him, but that thought faded. Zeoticus just looked at him to see his reaction, and he showed it with a lustful expression. Rias. Father, you can't do that. Ryu already has us. Zeoticus. Well, my dear, what's wrong with that? I can give my son maids if that's what he wants, but if it's you, there's no problem. Her argument was just like in the anime, and everyone was already in their rooms except Issei, who was outside the mansion on a cliff atop a rock, watching the Gremory clan at night. The lights were still on, and it looked like a Christmas tree. Issei. It's very beautiful. Dreg. Yes, it's very beautiful at night, partner. Issei. Dreg, did you analyze the clay sculpture I made? Dreg. Yes, partner, I already copied it. It's an armor never before created by my previous wielders, but you can unlock it with Bahamut's help. Issei. Well, we just have to wait. Issei-sama, Zeotica-sama and Venelana-sama are waiting for you. Issei turns around and sees a castle maid, silver hair like Grayfia's, blue-green eyes, a developed body like that of a certain phoenix girl. Issei. Are the Gremory patriarchs looking for me? Maid. Yes, this way please. The maid led Issei to the castle. As they walked, Issei looked at the maid with some doubt since she blushed whenever she was near him. He also sensed an energy within her, an ice magic like that of the Sitri family or Grayfia. Issei. Can you sense her magic? Albion. Yes, and let me tell you, this maid is powerful. She can rival the queen of that clan. Her ice magic is monstrous. It's inferior to yours, but she's still strong. Issei continued talking with his friends, but the maid, seeing Issei, thought some very unholy things about what she could do with him. Maid. Why am I thinking about that? He's Rias-sama's pawn. I have to behave myself, but my heart beats fast when I'm near him. What is this feeling? Issei and the maid felt their hearts racing. Issei. Maid. Could it be? Have I fallen in love with him or her? Issei and the maid arrived at the living room. The maid knocked 3 times and they heard her come in. They both entered and saw Zeoticus and his wife having tea in an armchair. Zeoticus was reviewing some papers. Maid. I've brought Issei-sama here, just as Zeoticus-sama requested. The maid bowed respectfully. Zeoticus, thank you Louisa. You may leave. My wife and I will take care of this. The maid bowed and left the room. Issei looked at the 2 patriarchs. Zeoticus. You see, Issei, the reason you're here is because we want you to show us your magical reserves. In the human world, when we were at the academy, you released a little of your power, but now I want to see your full potential. Issei. Okay, just let me. Issei raises a barrier so that no one outside feels his power suddenly erupt. Issei closed his eyes, and his aura of power began to emerge. The magic he possessed was immense, so much so that some things around him began to float. His power surpassed that of a supreme-class demon, reaching the same level as Sirzechs at full power. His parents were shocked to see so much power in someone like him. Zeoticus was happy. He knew that one day he would be a very strong demon, but he also knew that he would leave the Gremory clan after everything he was going through at that moment, suffering and being humiliated. Zeoticus. There are risks. If you don't change, you'll lose a very valuable asset, but I think Sona will be able to be with him. She's showing signs of loving him. Issei stopped unleashing his power, and his eyes were now redder than before, with slit pupils like a cat's, and his hair turned even blacker. Zeoticus. That's impressive, Issei. You're just as strong as Sirzechs. You're incredibly powerful and admirable. Issei. Thanks, I guess. Venelana. Well, Issei, we want to give you some gifts for saving everyone at the faction meeting. Issei. What would that be? Zeoticus. Well, 30 maids will go to your house in the human world and you'll have 23 personal maids. Issei was shocked. Greg. You hit the jackpot, buddy. Issei. Shut up, or do you want me to copy Tiamat and torture you? Greg kept quiet. Issei. I accept. Zeoticus. Good, don't worry, the maids will go to your new house. Issei. New house. Venelana. That's right. We decided it would be better to build you a mansion. Since your parents don't want you at home anymore, we decided to build one for you as another gift. Issei. Thank you, I appreciate it. Issei soon left the room and decided to go to sleep, but as he was walking, he heard shouts and decided to get a little closer just to listen. Ryu Samapi is killing me. Haha, you really are a tight little kitty, aren't you, Kaneko? Ryu-san, please more, destroy me, mash. Ara. I didn't know Asia was so perverted. Issei didn't pay any attention. He no longer felt love for them, so he went to his room. When he got there, he took off his clothes and went to take a shower before going to sleep. His body was well built, with some muscles and scars from the battles he had fought against rogue demons. Issei. I wish you were here, Claire, I miss you so much. Issei finished showering and decided to change his clothes before lying down in bed and going to sleep. Chapter 12. They were all outside the Gremory mansion, and with them was Azazel as their sensei, so that they could all overcome the power they carried within them as their sacred gear and overcome their fears. Azazel. Well, as you all know, I am now a master, and I will teach you all how to improve yourselves to become stronger than before. You will train for 2 whole weeks. Ryu. 2 weeks, this has to be a joke, I hate this, I wish I'd sleep with one of the maids in this mansion. Azazel knew Ryu's secrets and his intentions to grape the maids, for that reason he told Venelana and Zeoticus that some maids should be part of Issei's mansion, so that they would be safe from him, in case he wanted to G them or something like that. Azazel. Alright, we'll start with you, Ryu. You must reach the balance breaker during this training period. Ryu. Huh. A sound like something descending from the sky fell, and they saw that it was the former Dragon King Tannin who landed a few meters in front of them. It's good to see you all again. Ryu. It's that stupid dragon from yesterday that we faced. Azazel. Don't talk to him like that, and he will help you during these weeks of training, so that you can achieve the balance breaker. Ryu. What? Tannin. This is the first time I've trained a drag wielder. Azazel. Good luck and do your best not to die for him. Ryu turns a little pale when he hears that. Ryu. Gentlemen, isn't there any other word that doesn't imply die? Tannin grabs him with one of his claws that look like gold, holding the back of the shirt collar, and flies away. Rias. Ryu. Ryu. If you laugh. Rias. Let them squeeze you dry so you can prove who's stronger here. Ryu. Are you serious? A Tannin flies him to the dragon territory to train and endure great torture, but Issei observes, as he wants to see how Ryu is trained. Similarly, Issei is taken to another dragon who wields ice, and Tiamat, being an ice dragon, can greatly help him achieve balance breaker. They are all assigned different training programs to surpass their limits, but some demons don't accept their powers or royal bloodlines, such as Akeno and Kaneko. They hate their powers. For example, Kaneko doesn't want to use her power for fear that one day it will be taken away and she will be consumed by it. Akeno, being half-fallen, hates something instilled in her by her father and herself, and she doesn't accept her true power, which is great. For this reason, Issei copies her power, becoming even stronger than before, as he can control the lightning power of any angel or demon, even the gods themselves, with the help of the divine spear. And Issei, well, he was in the dragon territory trying to achieve the balance breaker of the divine spear, but he hasn't achieved it yet, but he did achieve the other dragon armors. He managed to overcome every limit he had, placing seals on himself so that no one would sense his power, because that way they might use him as a weapon or to manipulate him into marrying different girls from the underworld, since he possessed so much power that he could even defeat all of them. Michael knew that Issei wanted to surpass the limits of the Divine Alliance. The other day, he sensed Issei's energy, but malevolent, unleashed in a copy of Kuoh City, and he knew that he possessed Bahamut. Despite being human, his body withstood all of Bahamut's power, and he even managed to replicate it, despite it being a very strange sacred gear that he didn't understand why Elohim had created, but he would have to find that out later. Michael learned what Irina had done. She chose to believe Ryu rather than Issei, the boy to whom she had sworn to marry when he returned, but she decided to believe her brother rather than him, the one who had saved them all at the meeting of the factions for the peace treaty. Issei. Damn, I have to make it. Issei made movements with the spear while fighting his clones with swords so that he could fight well without having to use his dragons. Issei stabbed one clone and the other stabbed the original, but with his phoenix regeneration, he healed and managed to destroy this clone with a powerful blow. He saw a large group of clones approaching and lowered his spear with great force, firing a blue beam that created an explosion where the clones were, destroying them all. Issei continued training, observed by a boy or someone with black hair and purple eyes. He had a well-formed body and seemed very strong at first glance. Issei finished training and decided to sit down and rest for a while, sticking the spear into the ground. I see you're making good progress with that spear. Issei opens his eyes and sees in front of him the same boy who was watching him, but he was sitting down, and since the sky was red, he could hardly see his face well, but he could see his voice, it was like that of a man of about 22 years of age. Issei. Who are you? I'm just an observer. You're making great progress with that very powerful weapon, the Divine Spear, the weapon that killed Elohim. It's a weapon that carries almost all of his power, a weapon of immense power that no human could ever possess, because they would be instantly destroyed. But not you, because you're different. Become stronger, because at some point I want to fight you to demonstrate my strength to everyone, so you can prove who is stronger and reveal the whole truth, Issei. The boy stomped hard on the ground, where a crack opened up, and continued advancing until he reached where Issei was. The boy left, but saw how the ground where he was standing opened up in a huge way, about 5 meters wide, seeing that it was Issei who had given a powerful blow to the ground, and he just smiled at the sight of Issei's strength, as he was curious to see how far his power could reach. We'll see you at the party, see you later. The boy goes home, leaving Issei there. Issei. Who could he be? Greg. Partner, I sensed a great power in that boy. Also, let me tell you, he possesses a power of destruction that lies dormant within him, a monstrous power that surpasses that of Lucifer and anyone from the Beel clan, because, while dormant, he absorbed so much power that it made him stronger and stronger than before. Albion. Dryag is telling the truth. Let's hope we face that boy someday. Vitra. I support the red and white lizard, I hope we face him so you can demonstrate your strength to everyone in the underworld and they can see what you are capable of with all the power you possess. Issei. Well, the president hasn't been assigned to any raiding games, so we have to wait. Besides, I want to reveal everything later. I just want Ryu to enjoy this life for now, until the time comes when everything he has will turn to ashes before his eyes, and he'll see that he made a mistake by trying to take my life. Issei walks but sees the image of his brother on a wall, decides to ignore it and takes his spear, starts walking, but. Issei. Dark shoot. He fires a large black sphere from the tip of the spear and destroys the part where Ryu's image was, showing on his face that he had a certain resentment towards him for everything he did to him over the years. Issei. I swear, Ryu, that I will take this life from you, a life that isn't yours. You will see my power, just like all those who chose to ignore me and believe you. I will show you, Father, my power one day, and you will be very proud of me. All those who dared to mock me will see my great power, the power of the Dark Dragon God. Behind Issei appears a Baphomet-like figure smiling evilly because his partner finally felt hatred towards Ryu and his family, and very soon he would suffer the consequences. I'm sorry this chapter is short, but I'm busy with other theories, including new ones like the Saiyan Warrior of Universe 10. This story will be about Issei, who is the successor of Goku Black and Zamasu. When he fused with Black, only here Zamasu is still fused, and Black remains the same, and is the son of Zero, the dragon of the apocalypse, who is the brother of the dragon god of wishes. There will be another tournament of power where there will be new warriors, because I will allow between 14 and 18 to participate, or any number they wish. Bermuru, who is part of Universe 10, will participate, as will Milim, Vildora, Lilith Ouroboros, Issei's girlfriend, and of course, Issei himself. Here Goku already controls the complete Ultra Instinct, Vegeta has the Mega Instinct, Gohan the Beast State, Frieza the Black State, Piccolo the Orange State, Vegeta had a daughter named Node and Goku a son named Beat who are both Saiyans. They will participate in Universe 10. Krillin. Majin Buu. Freezer. Piccolo. Gohan. Beat. Note. Goku. Vegeta. Broly. Master Roshi. King Cold, Freezer's father. 10. Number 17. Number 18. The evil Saiyan, here he became good after being defeated by Goku and Vegeta, deciding to help everyone instead. Bardock, Goku's father. Jain, Goku's mother. Issei's powers. They're the same as in the anime, but 1,000 times stronger. The balance breaker gives Goku a fight in SSJ Phase 3, 4 and God. In the other armors I unlock, like in the DxD Hero anime, he gives him a fight in SSJ Blue with the Kaioken. Saiyan power. SSJ 1. SSJ 2. SSJ 3. SSJ 4. SSJ Blue. SSJ Blue 2. Super Saiyan Blue 3 gives Goku a maximum fight in Ultra Instinct. SSJ Blue 4, Jiren and Goku together. SSJ Arrows. SSJ Arrows 2. SSJ Arrows 3. SSJ Arrows 4. And others that are getting stronger all the time. This will be an all-out battle because the fight will last 3 hours and the universes will not be eliminated. The other theory I'm working on is about the demon dragon. Issei will fall into the world of Tensura Tensei Shatara Slime. He is a demon king and a very strong one, being a novice, and he has a great grudge and hatred towards the supernatural beings of his world. Another theory I'm developing is that of the King of the Titans. The Night King. King Dark Dragon. The King of Emptiness. The evil dragon god of the void. What do you want Issei to look like in the next chapter of A New Life in a New World? Image 1. View. Image 2. View. Image 3. Chapter 13. It was the day of the meeting of the young demons, as well as the meeting of the leader of Asgard, Odin, to make an alliance to deal with the affairs of the Chaos Brigade and end it once and for all. Issei put on his normal academy uniform because he didn't wear fancy clothes, but his clothes were different. They were black and red. Rias. Listen carefully, you useless idiot. You'd better not do anything stupid because you'll embarrass the entire Gremory clan at the meeting. Issei didn't listen to her. He simply ignored her and left the area, heading for the place where all the high-class demons were. The low-class demons weren't allowed in because, well, they were commoners who didn't deserve to be among the elite. On his way, Issei bumped into Sona and Tsubaki, both wearing very elegant dresses. Issei blushed because Sona was incredibly beautiful, especially in her dress, as was Tsubaki. They were all heading towards the door when a loud crash stopped them, as an explosion from inside knocked the door down, and the culprits were two demons. It's obvious you want to die, isn't it, Zephyrdor? I don't know if that's how his name is spelled. Zephyrdor. Haha, you stink a lot like Virgin Seekvaira Agares. Issei via both demons. Rias. As always, these kinds of things happen very often. The fight between two demons from noble and well-known houses. From the knockdown door appears the same young demon who visited Issei wearing the same clothes as yesterday. Rias. Sekiryuutei. Sekiryuutei. Raising his hand to greet a pleasure Rias. Rias. He is Sekiryuutei, a demon, a very powerful one, and also my cousin. Sekiryuutei. Introductions can wait approaches both demons if it's the tech-crazy demon and the petulant demon Zephyrdor. Zephyrdor. Tantrum throwing. Damn you, demo. Sekiryuutei. I hope it's just you because honestly I don't feel like hitting anyone else. Looks seriously at Seekvaira, cracking his knuckles. Seekvaira backs down because he knows perfectly well the power of Sekiryuutei because he is very popular for his super strength which is on another level. Zephyrdor. Thanks, you damn useless Beelhouse bastard. Ah. Zephyrdor shot out, his chest bearing the mark of a fist, crashing into the wall and becoming embedded in it for the moment. Rias. Sekiryuutei is the #1 young demon, being the most recognized throughout the underworld for being strong enough to face a full set of pieces in a gamer rating by himself, including the king. Everyone was impressed by Sekiryuutei's enormous strength, but Issei maintained a serious and calm expression, for he believed that with his Bahamut balance breaker, he could defeat him with 10 blows to his vital points to cause an imbalance in his body and finish him off with his final attack. Then comes Ravel. To be more precise, the same conversation takes place but away from everyone so that they don't hear the conversation of the two of them. Ravel knows of Issei's power since he was the one who defeated him. Then Kaneko runs away, so he sees her, and behind everyone, a clone of Issei appears, taking the form of Akaza, and runs off at full speed without anyone seeing him leave. Then an old bearded man arrives with a patch over his left or right eye, a spear in his hand, and 2 black and white ravens perched on his shoulders. This was Odin, the Allfather of Asgard. He was strong, slightly superior to Sirzechs and the rest, and was accompanied by a young woman with silver-purple hair, a good figure, and very pretty, only she was dressed as a secretary. Azazel. It's a pleasure to have you here, Odin. Odin. The pleasure is all mine, Brad. From what I see, things are going from bad to worse. Azazel. Don't even mention it, with the Chaos Brigade on the move, it's better to be united. The meeting was going well gradually until after Sirzechs' words. Sirzechs. The alliance will be perfect now that 4 factions can unite to defeat this enemy. Odin approached the triangle when. Stop. Odin. I knew it was you all this time, but I was waiting for your move Loki. From a magic circle comes Loki, the god of lies, son of Odin. Loki. Yes, it's me, the Norse god Loki. Demonic soldiers approach in a defensive position. Azazel. I did not expect a visit from a god like you, Loki. Loki. I cannot allow inferior beings to join the gods like us, for that reason I will destroy the world with Ragnarok. Azazel. Where did you hear that story? Are you affiliated with the Chaos Brigade? Loki. Yes, I am allied with her, so I will have to move things forward a little more. My beloved son appears. From another, larger magic circle emerges a giant wolf of imposing appearance. This was Fenrir, the son of Loki, who can kill even the gods with his powerful bite, but out of nowhere a small black sphere appears against Fenrir. And everyone sees in the sky an armor similar to that of the Sekiryuutei, but black in color with red gems like blood itself. I am Dark Dragon God, the 3rd celestial dragon of darkness and conquest, and I have come to destroy you, Loki, because I will not allow you to destroy this world. From his right hand appears a spear of great power that made everyone tremble. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.